It's rather refreshing as we get set to face the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Indianapolis Colts. Now, moments ago, the seismic news throughout Indianapolis was confirmed. Matt Hasselbeck will be the starting quarterback this afternoon, and he will start in place of the injured Andrew Luck, who's playing the role as cheerleader this afternoon. Today's game is being broadcast in Spanish where available using the SAP button on your television. Well, we are ready to go. The Jacksonville Jaguars have won the toss. They've deferred. Andrew Luck has the wristband on the sidelines. He's going to be an extra coach this afternoon. His first missed game of his NFL career. It's been 51 games played. And Matt Hasselbeck, his first start since he started for the Titans back in 2012 against the Chicago Bears. Griff Whalen and Zerlon Tipton, who was just re-signed this past week by the Colts, back deep to receive. And we are underway from Indianapolis. And Whalen will take it 8 yards deep, and he's coming on out. And Whalen has a blocker up to the 20-yard line, and he dives forward to the 23. Well, Adam, here we go. There's not many players that played when you played, but here's Matt Hasselbeck, the 40-year-old. His numbers against the Jacksonville Jaguars in 7 games, he's ready to go. He said he was humbled and excited about this opportunity.
Yep, I got a chance to play against Matt when he was in his prime back in his days in Seattle. But the reality is he's only had 56 attempts in the last 2 seasons. He's 40 years old, and he's had an offensive line right now that has failed to protect their quarterback. So he's got to get the ball out of his hands quickly.
Well, that number 23 character in the backfield who takes the first opportunity of the day is going to be a big factor this afternoon. He drops the first pass. Let's take a look at the Colts offense. We'll begin with that offensive line. This combination worked last week, particularly in the fourth quarter. Hugh Thornton calmed himself down. He's over at right guard again. Frank Gore, he is the specialty player that we're going to focus on this afternoon. The veteran running back is going to have to carry a big load this afternoon as he takes his first run opportunity of the day up to the 29-yard line. Devon House makes the tackle for the Jaguars. The Jags lineup, well, we begin with their defensive front. It's a good one. Andre Branch is back from injury. The linebackers, Paul Posluszny could be the best middle linebacker in football, and Cyprien is back, and that will help the secondary. It's 3rd down and 5 for Hasselbeck. His second pass of the day in and out of the hands of Kobe Fleener. So the 3 and out, and the Colts will be forced to punt.
Well, it's pretty interesting. You see that they started out in kind of a no-huddle, trying to push the tempo and maybe catch the Jaguars off balance a little bit. But you're going to see 2 different offenses. The Andrew Luck offense is the down the field, play action, 7-step drop. That's not what Matt Hasselbeck does. He's a rhythm, a timing quarterback, and really wants to get the ball out of his hands.
McAfee on the punt for the first time. Nick Marshall back deep to receive. He comes running up, and that's a mistake, but his teammate is going to help him out. It went in and out of his hands, but was recovered by Demetrius McCray. And that is huge for the Jaguars, and it gives Blake Bortles an opportunity to touch the ball for the first time this afternoon. All right, Adam, what about Blake Bortles? How is he better from last year?
Well, one thing you have to realize is he's still very young, and now he is working in his 3rd system in 3 years. So there's still a lot to learn, but you like the way that he's attacking downfield. Now, the big question with him that he has to answer is, can he be consistent? He's shown the ability to throw great balls down the field, but then he has that play where you ask yourself, what was he thinking? Consistency has to be a big part of Bortles' game.
A big factor, too, is T.J. Yeldon, the rookie, who's in the backfield on first down from the 30. The handoff goes to Yeldon, and he may have gotten a yard before he has stacked up Jarrell Freeman in on the tackle. Let's take a look at the Jaguars' offense. We'll begin with their front line. Luke Jokel's been out, but he is back. A.J. Cann, the rookie, makes the start at right guard for Brandon Linder. Specialty players, we talked about Yeldon being important, but it doesn't seem like anybody's more important in the receiving game than Allen Robinson, with the injury to Marquise Lee.
Now, Robinson is playing with a lot of confidence, but T.J. Yeldon looks good as a rookie. Well, he has to look great because he has to be a centerpiece of this offense for them to be successful.
That's Hearns in motion. Here comes the pressure. Bortles throws, and he has Lewis, his first reception of the year, but it doesn't look like he gained much. Vontae Davis makes the tackle. It'll be 3rd down. Let's take a look at that Colts defense. The two young guys up front, David Parry and Henry Anderson, the former Stanford teammates. Linebackers, Trent Cole is back this week. He wasn't there last week against Tennessee. And the secondary, it's been banged up, which Dwight Lowry was fantastic last week against the Titans, playing now against his former team. Just 2 minutes into today's ball game, it's 3rd down and 8 for the Jaguars. Colts showing blitz. You see Bortles point out the Mike linebacker. From the shotgun, looking to throw. This is what he does best, is rolls out of the pocket. He throws on the run. Passes completes to Brian Walters. Boy, that's a big reception to free things up for the Jaguars.
Well, one of the things that Greg Minuski wanted to do coming into this game is more pressure. And he felt that last week he was hamstrung because of the injuries to his secondary, and they wanted to get after Bortles. But Bortles doing what he does best. Gets outside, breaks contain, and then hits his receiver on the sideline.
Well, the Colts have an injured player. It's Jarrell Freeman. They cannot afford to lose him. He's being tended to on the sidelines with 12:39 to play here in the first quarter. Freeman, the 4th-year pro out of Mary Hardin Baylor, a Division III school in Texas. And he's one of those spotlighted guys that Ryan Grigson, the general manager, likes to send his scouts out toward to find. And he's been a good one. So he's up on his feet and off to the sidelines. So it'll be 1st down from the 46 for the Jaguars. They get the first down of the day on a 13-yard pass play. And Blake Bortles made a quick trip over to the sidelines to get some advice. Now he comes out to his huddle and will be ready to break it. We welcome those of you who have been watching the Jets and the Dolphins from England. Along with Adam Archuleta, I'm Tom McCarthy here at Lucas Oil Stadium. You saw the final score. The Jets win it 27-14. A big day for Chris Ivory. This is the first possession of the day for the Jaguars and the second run for T.J. Yeldon, who is stopped by Trent Cole. Well, if you've been engulfed in the Jets-Dolphins game and have missed it, a seismic change today for the Indianapolis Colts. Andrew Luck is injured and is inactive this afternoon with a shoulder injury. And 40-year-old veteran Matt Hasselbeck is starting in his place. 2nd down at 11. Again, Yeldon. Yeldon falls forward to the 49. David Parry makes the tackle.
Well, Tom, after talking to Greg Olson, the offensive coordinator for Jacksonville last night, he said, look, they've got a pretty good active defensive line, but we're going to be disappointed. We feel like we could run the football against this defense. They're active, but they're young. And so we want to test our offensive line, challenge our offensive line, really get our running game going.
Averaging 92 yards on the ground, which you saw right there, 23rd in the NFL. Facing their second 3rd down. They need to get inside Colts territory to cross the 44. Pass is complete, but it's short to Allen Hurns. And he is 4 yards short. Gathers in on the coverage for the Colts.
Well, both secondaries are kind of in the same place, and both coordinators want to play more aggressive. Greg Minuski loves man-to-man coverage. He wants his corners to get up there, get his hands on players, and Clayton Geathers is a promising rookie safety who plays down inside in the dime linebacker position, a guy that they really feels gives them a lot of flexibility on those 3rd downs in coverage and also playing the run.
Brian Anger on to pump the ball away. Griff Whalen back deep to receive. Whalen calls for the fair catch, and the Colts will begin their second possession of the day from the 8-yard line. Matt Hasselbeck, a 3-and-out on his first possession. Let's see what he does when we return. Sometimes you have to refresh your memory about certain players. Matt Hasselbeck was an excellent player for the Seattle Seahawks, a 3-time Pro Bowl selection. He won 5 NFC West titles, and he is quarterbacking today for the injured Andrew Luck. It's 1st down from the 9. The handoff to Gore, and Gore is tracked down from behind by Dan Skuta, but there is a penalty flag down. Ed Hockley is the referee today. In his 24th year. Ed Hockley officiated last week
Illegal formation offense. The penalty is declined. Brings up second down.
All right, so second down and 10.
Which is therefore a foul.
The formation was illegal before the shift. Philip Dorsett checks in for the Colts. Interesting that Gus Bradley would decline the penalty and take the down instead.
51.
So here's Hasselbeck out of the shotgun. Dorsett in motion out of the backfield to the far side. Dumps it to the middle, has Fleener, and Fleener's got a first down up to the 24-yard line. Puslesny in on the tackle. All right, Adam, that's what Matt Hasselbeck does. A lot of things he does is quick.
Yeah, he's reading the safety. Telvin Smith almost reads this and jumps underneath and gets the interception. He read this perfectly. He knew exactly what was happening, but Hasselbeck getting the ball out and then getting his tight end involved. Kobe Fleener has to be a big part of this offense here today. He's been non-existent here this season.
That's only his 6th reception of the year. Frank Gore checks back in, looking left behind Jack Doyle, wrapped up immediately and taken down. Puslesny and Skuda in on the tackle.
Well, I think there's no secret, and you even go back to last week. The offensive line have had major issues protecting the quarterback, and they want to run the ball. So they made some lineup changes, did a better job running the football. They really tried to get Frank Gore involved early in that game, and they certainly want to do the same thing in this game to relieve Matt Hasselbeck, but this defensive line really excels at stuffing the run.
Yeah, this is the alignment that took them into the postseason last year as Gore misses the second reception opportunity of the day. Matt Hasselbeck kind of threw it behind him, so it'll be third down and 10.
Pretty interesting. Twice now, passes to Frank Gore, and this time was a screen, and it looked like they had this thing blocked up. Paul Puslesny was the only person who could have been there to make the play. He had 2 offensive linemen on him. But right now, Hasselbeck to Gore out of the backfield is not working.
So Hasselbeck facing a third down. They need to get across the 34 for a first down. He'll step up to the pocket, has time, slings it left, has Dante Moncrief for a first down up to the 40-yard line. Well, we saw him last week. Everybody watched him against the New York Jets. This guy is primed to have a big game.
He is. You're going to see the linebackers up inside. They're faking blitz, trying to get Hasselbeck to get the ball out of his hands quickly. But Dante Moncrief has emerged as the go-to target on third down. He's been outstanding.
Gain of 16. They have an extra lineman in Jonathan Harrison, but nothing doing for Frank Gore. Boy, Puslesny is all over the place with these tackles in this first quarter.
Yeah, he's an oldie, but he's a goodie. And you see his instincts are incredible, getting inside the line of scrimmage and getting to Gore.
Well, Chuck Pagano in his 4th season with the Colts, he talked at length about Puslesny the other day in our meetings and what a game wrecker he could be. It's second down and 11. Empty backfield. Hasselbeck to throw. Dorsett has it and is sandwiched at the 45. Again, it's Puslesny. We're going to be calling his name an awful lot.
Well, already, you know, you're watching Jacksonville, their defense, and last week, anytime New England went their empty formation, Tom Brady picked them apart. The underneath cover, the underneath routes were there. Deep was there. Obviously, the Colts saw something on tape using a lot of empty formations here early.
Gain of 5 on the play, but it is third down and 5. Hasselbeck's converted 2 third downs already. Make it 3 third downs to Dante Moncrief. They go to him, Adam. Andrew Luck does 27% of the time on third downs. Well, it looks like Hasselbeck likes that matchup too.
Well, he's been reliable. Zone coverage, and he just feels where the nickelback Aaron Colvin is. He finds the open spot in the zone, and Matt Hasselbeck, this is the stuff that he did when his game was on top.
Offensive line is overloaded on the left side. They dump it off to Doyle, and Doyle with flags flying gets inside the 35. Down to the 33-yard line. We'll keep an eye on the penalties because they were a big problem even last week for the Colts and have been throughout the course of the season.
Well, they're averaging 9 a game, Tom.
That's
27th in the National Football League, and it's been the timing. It seems like every time they get a big play this year to try and build off of, it always seems to come back because of a hold.
Yeah, they had 11 penalties last week, including 5 holding penalties, 2 false start penalties against the offensive line.
There were 2 fouls by the offense on the play. Illegal formation, number 72, reported legal, but he was covered on the line of scrimmage. That penalty is declined. It was also an ineligible downfield, number 76. That's enforced 5 yards from the previous spot. Repeat, first down.
All right, so Joe Wrights is called for the penalty that the penalty that they'll tack on. Matt Hasselbeck, you kind of forget some of the numbers that he's put up during the course of his career, but with his pass completions today for 52 yards, he's the 23rd quarterback in NFL history with 35,000 yards or more. Well, he was a pleasure to talk to the other day. You know, he said when he came to Indianapolis, he realized, all right, I'm now officially a backup. But he still wanted to play, and he felt like he could be a mentor to Andrew Luck, although he said that Luck is more of a mentor to him. Quick pass to the outside. T.Y. Hilton, first reception of the day, gains 4. Jonathan Cyprien in on the tackle.
Until the Jaguars prove that they can stop empty formation, they're going to see a lot of it. And the coverage is tighter, but this is a predetermined play. Both of the outside receivers block, and then they're just trying to give their speed burner, T.Y. Hilton, a chance to do something after the catch.
Gus Bradley told us yesterday they want to be more aggressive, but do they have to be more aggressive on those particular plays, you think, Adam?
I do. I think that, they can't allow for an offense to spread the field and pick them apart underneath.
On second down, Hasselbeck to throw again. This time Gore is able to hang on, and he breaks 1 tackle down to the 35. Telvin Smith in on the tackle. It's a gain of 7.
Well, they're just trying to isolate Gore on Cyprien. This is man-to-man coverage out of the backfield. And for the first time, they've targeted Gore out of the backfield quite a bit today. And here, for the first time, he makes the catch, breaks the tackle, and sets the offense up in a 3rd and medium situation.
All-time leader in all-time yards for the San Francisco 49ers. So he can catch the ball in the backfield. This will be the 8th pass of this drive, and it's short of T.Y. Hilton. It'll be 4th down. And here comes Adam Vinatieri. So with 5:04 left to play here in the first quarter, Adam Vinatieri, who is 0 for 2 this year on field goal attempts, will attempt a 54-yard field goal, which he was booming without any problem at all during pregame drills.
I don't know what's more amazing, the fact that he's missed 2 or that he's only had 2.
That's true.
Here in the 4th game.
42 years old. Good snap, good hold. Kick is on its way, end over end, and it is good. Adam Vinatieri, a little sigh of relief in week number 4. He gives the Colts a 3-0 lead here in the first quarter. Chuck Pagano, always upbeat. Pretty upbeat right now. Friday, the Colts hosted the Pinking of the Canal event here in Indianapolis. Festivities included live music, limited edition Colts pink posters, appearances by the Colts cheerleaders, and of course, the Pink Canal. Join in the fight against breast cancer. Learn more about a crucial catch day on October 13th and find out how you can help make a crucial catch at NFL.com/pink. Before the ball game, a cancer survivor, Chuck Pagano, went and greeted all of the breast cancer survivors that were part of the pregame festivities. The beautiful color of pink was all over Lucas Oil Stadium. We talk about these two coaches being likable. You can't leave a meeting with either one of them not being pumped up. It is incredible how inspirational both are. As the Jaguars will take over 1st and 10 from the 20. Blake Bortles will get another opportunity. Down 3-0. Let's see what he has in store for the offense when we come back.
Well, how about the keys to the game for both of these two football teams? Jacksonville offensively has to win first downs. They've got to be in 2nd and short, 3rd and medium. That is key to their success. And defense, you got to make impact plays, turnovers, sacks, pressure, get to Matt Hasselbeck. Offensively, they can move the ball down the field if they don't self-destruct. No penalties, no turnovers. You're going to be just fine. In defense, make Jacksonville one-dimensional. TJ Yeldon cannot have a breakout game against this defense.
Yeldon so far 3 carries for 5 yards. It's first down from the 20 for Bortles. Off the play fake, he'll settle into the pocket. And his pass to the near side is complete to Allen Hurns, who's out of bounds just outside the 45-yard line.
This is what hurt this defense a little bit last week. Allen Hurns singled up in man-to-man coverage. This is a maximum protection look, 2-man route, and boy, that's tough. He's just running away from the leverage to the inside, and Blake Bortles has a perfect pass to his wide receiver.
Well, we've got another injured Colts player. Jarrell Freeman was injured on the last series, and he's still out. We'll take a break with the Colts on top 3-0 here in the first quarter. First and second graders from here at Indianapolis, from Edinburgh, the Lancers, and from Lutheran, the Saints, before today's ball game. What a thrill that must have been. Blake Bortles 4 for 4 so far for the Jaguars. It's first down from the 46. Off the play fake to Yeldon. He has time, launches it deep to the near side. Pass is complete. A diving grab by Allen Robinson. They went right after Darius Butler, who just checked into the game for the first time for Jalil Brown.
Well, Darius Butler is better in the slot. Off coverage, and Robinson doesn't even stutter, doesn't even give him a move. He just runs right by him. And boy, back-to-back plays down the field. Blake Bortles hitting his wide receiver exactly the way you want from your quarterback.
He took a hit as he went down. That was a 48-yard gain. So it's down to the 6-yard line of Indianapolis. And the handoff is fake to Yeldon. Bortles to throw back to the end zone. He overthrows his intended receiver. It was Allen Robinson. Mike Adams in on the coverage. How about Robinson averaging just under 23 yards per reception this year?
He's a big play target, but you know, this is what they had to do coming into this game. The play action pass. And when you study Blake Bortles this season, he is terrific in the play action, but up until this game, they just didn't do it enough. But that has to be a big part of the offense. Now you'd hope that the play action pass, success down the field, opens things up for TJ Yeldon.
It's their 9th possession inside the red zone so far this year. The handoff goes to Yeldon, trying to find some daylight, dancing like a shorebird. And he's down inside the 5, close to the 1-yard line. Jonathan Newsom makes the tackle.
Well, the big key is for TJ Yeldon is he can't get hit at the line of scrimmage. Too often this year, he has been hit at or near the line of scrimmage. And if you give him just a crack, he has shown that he has excellent feet. He can make you miss and pick up the necessary yards.
Well, he stays in the game. It's 3rd and goal. They have 2 receivers off to the left. Walters is one, and the other is Hurns. Out of the shotgun is Bortles, looking left, pumps left, throws left, incomplete. His intended receiver was Hurns, and he was covered up that time by Darius Butler.
This is blanket coverage. Darius Butler, who really excels in the slot, is locked up man for man right here. And there is nowhere for Blake Bortles to throw the football. That is tight man coverage. And a good job by that defense, standing up, backed up, tight to their end zone and forcing the field goal.
Well, the rookie Jason Myers out of Marist College. This will be a 20-yard field goal attempt. And he is right on the money to tie this ball game up with 2:49 to play here in the first quarter. Well, Gus Bradley has to be happy with what he's seen from his second-year quarterback, Blake Bortles. Saturday, the SEC on CBS puts on the best game for the best conference as the Bulldogs battle the Volunteers. The hoopla begins with college football today. Alabama took care of Georgia yesterday on CBS.
Did you see that coming?
I did not see that coming. Nick Chubb had a big day yardage-wise, but not scoring-wise. All right, so we're tied at 3 with 2:49 to play here in the first quarter. Matt Hasselbeck will get it back in just a moment. How has he looked so far, Adam? Has Matt Hasselbeck looked comfortable so far?
I think he has. Yeah, I think he's recognizing what the defense is doing. He's getting the ball out of his hands. He's had a couple drops from Frank Gore and his receivers, but I think he looks comfortable.
Here's Griff Whalen back deep to receive, and he's just going to take a knee. So field position will be at the 20-yard line for Hasselbeck. Well, what you said earlier is that he's a quick passer. He is a quick passer from the quarterback position.
Well, a big piece of kind of that West Coast offense is getting it out to your running backs and getting them involved. But Frank Gore has let him down a little bit. But then he found Dante Moncrief, who is as reliable as it gets right now, especially on third down. So you like what he's doing right now. They're using some tempo. They're using a lot of empty sets, trying to spread out the Jaguars. And if they don't drop passes, they have a better chance of moving the ball down the field.
And Bortles has been effective, too, for the Jaguars. Here is Frank Gore. He may have gotten a yard on that one. Tyson Alualu makes the tackle for the Jaguars, so it'll be 2nd down and 9.
And Tyson Alualu, he's normally their defensive end. But because of Senderick Marks, their best defensive lineman out with that ACL injury, Alualu plays inside, and he gives them a great run presence in there going up against guards.
So Derek Marks should be back in a couple of weeks, which is great news, as Moncrief on 2nd down has a 1st down up across the 30. Dwayne Gratz in on the tackle for the Jaguars.
Well, he's matched up with Dwayne Gratz, who lost the starting corner job but won the starting nickel job for the Jaguars, and that's what you want to see. A big-bodied wide receiver catching the ball with a defender all over him.
3 catches, 43 yards. Robinson for the first time today gains a couple up to the 35. Replay every game of the 2015 season on demand with NFL Game Pass. Go to NFL.com/Game Pass to start your free trial. Robinson stays in the game. This is what I wondered, too, if Hasselbeck would use the same hand signals that Andrew Luck uses. Formation is the same as what we normally see. Got the tackle overload on the left side. Robinson running left, and he gets up to the 38-yard line. Well, 2015 has had some notable quarterback injuries. Now, Jay Cutler, that hamstring injury, he is active for today's ballgame. But Roethlisberger's knee, Tony Romo's clavicle was huge. And Drew Brees possibly will play for the New Orleans Saints. But Andrew Luck has not missed a game. In fact, Adam, the last time he missed a game, he was a freshman at Stanford University.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. Both Luck and Ben Roethlisberger. It's really incredible. But I mean, it pays to have a quality backup, and that's huge. You don't expect them to play at the level of the starters, but they've got to be able to function within an offense.
3rd down and about 5. Hasselbeck looking long to the far side for T.Y. Hilton, and it's just off his fingertips. And the Colts will be forced to punt. Devon House in on the coverage for the Jaguars.
It's a good battle at the top of the screen with Devon House, who came over from the Green Bay Packers, the big free agent pickup, and you know that's what you want to do. That ball was just outside T.Y. Hilton's range. I mean, it would have been an incredible catch, but that was just barely at his fingertips.
Second punt of the day for Pat McAfee, who faked a punt on his own last week. Nick Marshall calls for the fair catch, and he grabs it just outside the 15-yard line. 14 seconds to play here in the first quarter. Jaguars and the Colts tied up at 3. Your weekend starts with these Indianapolis Colts and hopefully Andrew Luck and the Houston Texans match macho on Thursday Night Football on CBS and NFL Network. So the Colts lead the all-time series 22-4. All 4 Houston wins have come at home, and that was part of the thought process with Andrew Luck. Short turnaround for Thursday. Could he manage today's game and then be able to play on Thursday as well?
Well, regardless of when they play, the worst thing that can happen is he hurts it more.
Right.
And then you really do something you don't want to do. So playing it safe is the right thing to do with your franchise quarterback.
Yeldon runs on 1st down, and he gets close to the 20-yard line. Zach Kerr in on the tackle, and that'll be the end of the first quarter. So not a whole lot so far. Blake Bortles has looked sharp for the Jaguars. His team is tied up with the Colts at 3. It seems like every NFL game that we watch and do, we're talking about somebody's offensive line. Brandon Linder is the best offensive lineman for the Jaguars. He's out today, and the rookie A.J. Cann is in at right guard. And that's a focal point. Luke Jokel's back. That helps. Blake Bortles, who's been comfortable so far. As we begin the second quarter, and there has been some movement, and that may be Jokel.
Well started offense, number 76. 5-yard penalty, second down.
All right, so they talked about A.J. Cann, Adam, and how important it has been that he's gotten reps, and they feel like he's come along very quickly. Second most starts ever at the University of South Carolina.
Yeah, they loved him. Drafted him in the 3rd round and thought he had some ability, but as training camp went on, he started to really come on, and even if Linder didn't get hurt, they thought about getting him into the rotation. So they're really high on A.J. Cann.
On second down, Bortles to throw, slings it to the far side. It's complete to Allen Hurns. So he got some of the yards back. Darius Butler in on the coverage. And Allen Hurns is down on 2 knees. Boy, that's something that the Jaguars cannot have. They're already without Marquise Lee.
Well, just a simple speed out versus off coverage. And boy, you're right. Injuries to their playmakers, their impact players, they've really led to them having some trouble gaining some chemistry and getting a feel for who they want to be.
Well, they're still dealing with him on the far sideline. It'll be 3rd down and 6 for the Jaguars. Bortles from the shotgun, and he is hit, and he is dropped. Kendall Langford in on the sack for the Colts.
This is just an assignment bust. Kendall Langford scot-free. And it's hard to say. You don't know exactly what the protection scheme was, but you got to believe that T.J. Yeldon had to be responsible for somebody. You usually don't see a running back on a defensive lineman like that, but a gap in communication leads to a big sack for the Colts.
So Anger will punt from his end zone. Griff Whalen should get a chance to return this one. Nope, he's going to call for a fair catch, but good field position for the Colts. 13:45 to play here in the first half. We're tied up at 3 here. Let's check in with JB in New York.
A balanced Atlanta attack. Yes, indeedy. Devontae Freeman is giving that balance. Up the gut, 23 yards. His 6th touchdown of the year. Atlanta leads 14-0.
And we know what Julio Jones has been doing. Tom McCarthy and Adam Archuleta.
All right, JB, thank you very much. Boy, Devontae Freeman has been explosive for the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, JB hit it. We know what Julio Jones is doing, and it's pretty good.
Hasselbeck calling out an audible as Doyle was about to come in motion. We're set by himself on the far side. The handoff goes to Josh Robinson, and he is taken down immediately. He lost the football, and it's picked up by the Jaguars. Cyprien picked it up, but there is a flag down on the field. Dan Scuda was on the hit, and Cyprien was on the recovery.
Holding offense number 75. That penalty is declined. Jackson ball, first down.
That's Jack Muhort is called for the penalty, the holding penalty, the 13th of the year for the Colts.
Yeah, Muhort is out here. He's trying to get the kickout block, but I love Jonathan Cyprien. This is not a blitz. That's just reading your keys, reading run, and getting in the backfield and making a play. And that's why they are so excited to finally get him back in the defense and pair him with a free safety that can roam the middle of the field, because when he gets in by the linebackers, he's got great run game instincts.
Well, Gus Bradley said we need takeaways today, but we need points off those takeaways, and this fumble gives them excellent field position. They shift the 2 tight ends. Mercedes Lewis, Nick Jacobs are the 2 tight ends on the right side, and now Jacobs in motion. On first down, the handoff to Yeldon, and Yeldon right over his right guard, scampers inside the 35 to the 34. Mike Adams in on the tackle. Well, Chuck Pagano told us on Friday, he said he's like a shorebird. And Adam, you said, what is a shorebird?
Is that showing my age? I still don't know what a shorebird is.
It's a bird with long legs that can move quickly, and that's what Chuck Pagano thinks of T.J. Yeldon.
Except he's got a little bit thicker legs than a bird, right?
Little bit. Says he has great vision. 6 carries, 23 yards so far. The rookie out of Alabama. Play Harbor in motion off the play fake. Quick toss, and Harbor's got it, and he's inside the 20-yard line and stumbles close to the 15. Dwight Lowry in on the coverage. Hey, great recognition by Blake Bortles on that.
Yeah, play action. So Yeldon comes here, then Harbor comes behind the line of scrimmage. I mean, every offense in football has this play. But the linebackers lose it in coverage. It looked like DeQuell Jackson's eyes were in the backfield. And Blake Bortles working the play action. Now the red zone, Tom, is where they have to get better. Before this game, 8 drives. Only this season in the red zone, only 3 touchdowns. The next step is to get touchdowns, not field goals.
Yeah, look to Mercedes Lewis in this situation. Yeldon right up the gut inside the 10. And Adam, you pointed out about play action and straight dropbacks. We just popped up that graphic real quick. We're going to be following that this afternoon. Bortles' success play action-wise, 95 yards, and regular dropbacks. Completion percentage is good, but lesser yards.
It's been what he does best this year. They just haven't done it enough. And boy, the fact that you're able to hit it early in the game is a promising sign, because when you dial it up, when you max protect and you single up those wide receivers, you want to be able to hurt a defense for playing man-to-man coverage.
Remember, Hearns is out with an ankle injury. Off the play fake, Bortles looking toward the end zone. He can run. He throws off his back leg, and it is complete. Touchdown, Jacksonville. Allen Hearns with the touchdown reception for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Robinson out with the ankle. Hearns picking up the slack, and he has his second score of the year.
Well, they're going heavy play action, and they're trying to get this, but the Colts double it. It was a great job of recognition by the Colts, doubling the upfield route on Hurts. You see Dwight Lowry, but then Hearns uncovering. Blake Bortles escaping the pocket. The Colts' eyes in the backfield. And again, Bortles looking sharp. Sharp in play action, and sharp when he gets out of the backfield so far in this game.
Well, Greg Olsen, the offensive coordinator, his first year over from the Raiders. He's been helping in the development. It's the first points off a takeaway this year for the Jaguars. Now the point after nearly blocked, but it is good. And Jacksonville is on top 10-3. So they force the turnover. Josh Robinson has it knocked loose by Skuda. It's picked up by Cyprien. And then the touchdown pass gives the Jaguars the lead 10-3. Week 4 continues later today on Fox. Then tonight with Sunday Night Football on NBC. And tune in tomorrow for Monday Night Football on ESPN. Blake Bortles, touchdown pass. It's his 6th of the year. It capped a 4-play, 44-yard drive. He found Allen Hearns in the end zone. These guys are young, all these guys together, and they are growing with each passing practice and each passing week.
Tom, I think Bortles looks sharp.
Yeah.
He looks really good right now. If they just got to keep this thing going and, you know, really capitalizing and throwing some nice-looking footballs.
Remember, the Colts began the last drive on their 48. Whalen is going to return this one. And he hops his way toward the 20, and he gets back maybe to the 19. So let's see if the Colts can respond. They trail it by 7 here in the second quarter. Well, we're back at it here in Indianapolis. Frank Gore back in the ball game. That's Doyle in front of him in the offset I formation. The Jaguars just scored off the turnover by the Colts. Let's see if Hasselbeck and the Colts can respond. A quick pass to Gore, who juggles and is taken out of bounds. Cyprien was right there, but that juggle really cost him some yards.
Yeah, it's just not working in the passing game, but just a good job by Jonathan Cyprien. You see him at the line of scrimmage. He's got the coverage on Gore, and he hits him pretty much right when he catches that. So even if Gore catches that, that's an easy tackle by Cyprien. And they were excited to get number 37 back in the lineup, and already in this game making an impact.
He had a calf injury against the Panthers, and now a timeout called by Jacksonville.
Timeout Jacksonville. That's their first.
So Gus Bradley did not like what he saw. He decided to use a timeout. We'll be back to Indianapolis right after this.
James Brown and Bart Scott back in New York. Get used to this combination. Carr to Cooper.
Derek Carr throws a 26-yard strike to Amari Cooper, who gets both feet in. Oakland takes the lead 7-6.
Back to Tom McCarthy and Adam Archuleta.
Well, JB, we're seeing some young receivers / quarterback play today for Jacksonville, and we're seeing it there in Oakland. And speaking of JB and Bart, coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, will rejoin JB, Tony, Bart, of course, Boomer, and Coach Cowher for all the latest NFL scores and highlights, as well as a preview of Thursday Night Football on CBS and the NFL Network. That's all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. All right, so total yards so far in this game. Jacksonville 104 in the first quarter, 41
There was no
since.
foul on the prior play.
Indianapolis,
Timeout was called
84.
before there was a penalty.
-4 since. The yards per pass attempts, Bortles has the upper hand right now on Matt Hasselbeck.
Well, it's kind of his profile, and we talk about his play action. Coming into this game, Blake Bortles averaged 12 yards per attempt on play action. All his other passes, only 6.8 yards per attempt. So that has to continue to be a focal point for the Jags offense.
Well, we've got an empty backfield for the Colts. Hasselbeck, of course, playing for the injured Andrew Luck. And he lofts it to the near side for Dorsett, but Dorsett had a different play in mind, and it was short. Davon House was in on the coverage. All right, so the first 4 possessions, they got their first field goal of the year, but no sustained drives other than that second possession.
In that last possession, they were set up in pretty good field position.
Absolutely.
And that's something that this defense has to do with no Andrew Luck. Set up the offense, give them short fields, give them a chance to put points on the board, and that was a squandered opportunity.
Pep Hamilton told us the other day if it was going to be Hasselbeck, he didn't feel like he had to change too much. Hasselbeck said we wouldn't find out till Saturday night. Pass complete to Fleener, who dives forward for the first down. Well, that's a pretty good way to loosen things up, is to find Kobe Fleener.
He's a big part of the offense, and he's just going to come in motion. He's going to delay for a second, allow everybody else to clear out so they can get a one-on-one isolation. You see him just pause right there. He's matched up with Telvin Smith, who's an excellent coverage linebacker, but then he just drags them to get a first down.
So a gain of 11. It's a first down for the Colts. Fleener 2 receptions, 26 yards so far. Now the handoff to Gore. Gore running hard, but is stood up immediately by Telvin Smith. Did he get a yard or two? Boy, it's been a tough road so far for Frank Gore.
It's tough. You've got great run-stuffing defensive line and active linebackers. And one other player that you got to be excited about is Telvin Smith, who has elite speed. And you think, hey, he's a small guy. Let's run at him. But he plays a lot bigger than he is. He's pretty stout, and he can roam and run and cover.
Gus Bradley said that when they let him off for the offseason, we said, we want you to play an entire 16-game schedule the way you played the last 5 games of 2014. Hasselbeck to throw, passes off the fingertips of Moncrief, and they're fortunate it was not intercepted. And it'll be third down.
Well, the quick passing game is what they want to do because you've already hurt one quarterback. You don't want a 40-year-old quarterback getting hit, but it's just not working. And at some point, you're going to have to threaten and throw the intermediate routes and try and throw the ball down the field a little bit because for an offense and receivers that really haven't dropped the ball much, really starting to hurt them in this game.
Speaking of hurt, Moncrief looked like he hurt his hand. He looked like he jammed it on that pass play. He's been trying to make a fist to loosen it up. It's third down and 9. They've converted 2 third down and 10 so far, and Dorsett is wrapped up before the pass arrived. That'll be interference called against James Sample.
Pass interference, defense, number 23. The ball is placed at the spot of the foul. First down.
I like the thought from Pep Hamilton. Let's put our fastest player in the backfield to ensure that we get a matchup with a linebacker and safety. And boy, Sample was in great shape. He was right in the inside hip, but he dragged him. He hit him before he caught the football, and he gave them a first down. Remember, it was a pass interference last week on James Sample on an interception by Devon House in the end zone.
Right.
That took one off the board.
So it is a first down. Hasselbeck looking to throw, looking long, near side for T.Y. Hilton, who was tripped up. That's going to be incidental contact. Davon House was in on the coverage, and their feet just got tied up.
There was no foul for pass interference. The feet were tangled. No foul.
Fans don't like it, but it did look like their feet just got tangled.
Well, he tries to look off the safety, but it didn't work. And try to ensure the one-on-one coverage. is a great job by the safety right there. That's James Sample staying on his landmark, getting the inside presence. And Devon House was right there. T.Y. Hilton, he's looking for a call, but that was great coverage by number 31.
Play clock is winding down. Play clock at 1, and Hasselbeck gets the snap off. He lofts it for Andre Johnson, and Johnson can't hang on. Devon House again in on the coverage.
Well, you hear about it all the time. Gus Bradley, Pete Carroll, they like the long corners. Why do they like the long corners? Because they love to press. And guys that have that size, when you try and throw fades on them, they have the length to be there and take away that pass.
2 good plays then for House, who they brought in because they wanted better coverage from that corner position.
You might want to go try and attack somebody else, because right now House is all over these receivers like a pair of skinny jeans.
Timeout called by the Colts before the flag for a delay game.
Timeout Indianapolis, that's their first.
Well, Gus Bradley said that the game against the Patriots was a great learning experience for his team, and he was excited about today's ball game. Well, that's what Adam tools around during the week out in Arizona, is one of those cars, so stay out of his way. He takes the kids to school. It's 3rd down from the 36-yard line. Zerlon Tipton is in the backfield for the Colts, and Hasselbeck is ripped down, but there was a hand to the helmets, and that's why the flag came in. Boy, I'm telling you, they were probably holding their breath on the sidelines when Hasselbeck went down with the hand to the helmet. That's Josh Johnson, who was just signed on Friday. The officials are sorting it out right now as we speak. It's the hand to the head that was the big thing.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, roughing the quarterback, grabbing the quarterback's helmet. Number 91, 15 yards, first down.
Well, that's Chris Clemens. He's part of that NASCAR package. Watch it right here.
They've been looking for 3rd and long so they can scheme up some blitzes. Chris Clemens lines up on the right side, loops around. The offensive line doesn't pick him up. And boy, what a big mistake, because you're one-on-one on the quarterback. He puts his hands up. You don't have to do that. You have an easy sack, and now you give this offense a little bit of life. Chris Clemens has terrorized the Indianapolis Colts every time they play.
He's gotten luck 4 times in his career. Hasselbeck's probably thinking, why did I come back? Second penalty that forced a first down. It's first down from the 49. And the handoff goes to Gore running left. Not much there. He hasn't had a whole lot of breathing room. So Hasselbeck is the starter. Josh Johnson arrived at Indianapolis on Friday morning, and he went through a physical and a workout. And while the team was practicing, they signed him. So there he was, number 2. He arrived at practice, showed up in the huddle for the first time and said, hey guys, what's up? I'm Josh Johnson. Let's go. That was the first time they had seen him.
And then he looked at his wristband,
and then he looked at his wristband.
That's awesome.
That's what happens sometimes in the National Football League. On 2nd down, Hasselbeck to throw, and he has T.Y. Hilton. And Hilton breaks the tackle. A flag comes in. There may have been a face mask in there. Aaron Colvin in on the coverage. So you get the yards, and then you get the flag, and that's certainly going to help the Colts.
Foul, face mask, defense number 22. 15 yards from the end of the run, first down.
Well, this is going to be a fun matchup to watch, because T.Y. Hilton, we all know what he brings in and out of his breaks, matched up against Aaron Coleman, who has really come on here in his 2nd year, but a bigger
72
cornerback.
reports eligible. 72 is eligible.
He moves inside on nickel situations because he's so good against the run, but that's going to be a tough coverage. T.Y. Hilton, so good getting in and out of his breaks.
Overall, it's a 32-yard gain, so they're inside the 20. It's first down from the 17. Jonathan Harrison's in as an extra lineman. The handoff goes to Gore. Doyle's trying to give him some room, but nothing's there, because Lusney was able to clean it up, but Colvin was the guy that made the initial hit.
Wow, that was... Let's remind everybody, Aaron Colvin is a cornerback who moves inside in nickel situations because he plays the run so well. And right there, right in the thick of things, stacking up offensive linemen and not giving Gore any room to run. I mean, you just don't see that very often from cornerbacks.
Gore is split out as a receiver to the far side.
He's on Telvin Smith.
The play clock at 9. Hasselback to the right side for Kobe Fleener. Cyprien in on the coverage, and he's down to the 10. So you hear that, Cyprien on Fleener. They would have loved to have had Cyprien on Gronkowski last week.
That would have been a much better matchup, but you got to move on, Tom. We got to play the Colts right now.
Okay,
and
Coach.
You see Bob Babbage and Gus Bradley playing much more aggressive, man-to-man coverage. They want him right there. They want to challenge these wide receivers.
Hasselbeck 11 for 20 for 108 yards. You saw the splits on the plays. They just haven't been able to get Frank Gore going. Quick slant, and it's incomplete. Intended for Hilton. Flags come in. House was in on the coverage, and he may have had the shoulder of T.Y. Hilton. Boy, these are 3 big penalties on this drive against the Jaguars.
Pass interference defense, number 31. The ball is placed at the spot of the foul. First down.
But T.Y. Hilton is so good off of his release. Look at how he works Colvin, gets him to open up his hips, and then comes underneath. Right away, Colvin opens up to the sideline. He has no choice as T.Y. Hilton breaks inside than to reach out, try and grab him, and then you see the right arm there, right around his waist. That's a tough coverage. T.Y. Hilton can shake you at the line of scrimmage.
Well, it's a good call. 4th penalty on this drive for 40 yards. Forgot about the penalty early on. I formation. And flags come in. Harrison did come in.
Illegal substitution, 12 men on the field, offense, or correction, defense, half the distance to the goal. It's still first down.
All right, so 5 penalties now. Harrison came in late for the Colts. That may have caused the problem for the Jaguars.
You see right up at the top of the screen.
It was House that they were trying to get off. Then Cyprien thought he should get off.
54 and 72 are both eligible.
So David Perry, which is their nose tackle, comes in short yardage situation. Jonathan Harrison, who's the backup center, he comes in as an extra tight end right now. Heavy run formation. David Perry is fullback.
Perry right in front of Frank Gore. The handoff goes to Gore. Perry tries to free him up, but not much there. Jaguars defense has been excellent against the run here this afternoon. Dan Skuda over from the 49ers makes the tackle.
Well, it's tough. You know, Tyson Alualu is a load inside. Roy Miller is a run stuffer. And don't forget about Jared Audrick, who came over 5 years, $42 million from Miami, is a guy that replaced Red Bryant, who is a run stuffer himself. But Audrick has the athleticism not only to help against that run, but give you a little extra juice in passing situations.
Harrison lines up as the fullback, now shifts over to the left side of the offensive line. Now Doyle is the fullback. Moncrief's in motion. Off the play fake, Hasselback looking right, throws as he's hit, and it's complete! Touchdown Indianapolis, Kobe Fleener!
Well, a nice job by Kobe Fleener. He's going to act like he's going to the corner, and then he's going to sit down. And you're going to see Telvin Smith, who is in coverage, eyes on the quarterback. He loses Fleener, and then Hasselback recognizes his tight end wide open, under pressure, and gets their first touchdown of the game.
Posluszny hit him as he threw it. I mean, Posluszny was coming right in. So 13 plays, but 5 penalties by the Jaguars.
Now you got to keep your eyes on your coverage. You were in great shape, but you drifted, and Hasselback capitalizes.
And the Colts have tied it up at 10 with Vinatieri's extra point. 6:04 to play here in the first half. Téa Leoni returns with special guest star Morgan Freeman on the powerful season premiere of the hit drama Madam Secretary tonight after 60 minutes only CBS. Well, Andrew Luck out today with the shoulder injury. We asked Andrew, we asked Chuck Pagano, well, when did it happen last week? Because he got banged around by the Titans. They're not totally sure which play caused it, but he's been going through treatment. We were at practice on Friday. He was out throwing outside the bubble while all of us were in, including the rest of the media. And then the rest of the media left. We stayed. He came running in. We thought, all right, he's going to throw a little bit. Nuh-uh. He handed it off 3 times. That was it. That was his day with the offense on Friday.
You know, it's shocking, really, when you think about it, how many times in the last 2 or 3 seasons he's been hit. And it kind of shows you how tough of a quarterback he is because, boy, that is a lot of hits. I don't think people really understand. The quarterbacks across the National Football League aren't getting hit. And the fact that his sack rate is so low tells you just how good he is at getting that football out of his hands. But, you know, it's inevitable. When your quarterback gets hit that much, there's a good chance he's not going to be available.
Pat McAfee to kick it off. And Grant will just take a knee 9 yards deep. All right, so Adam, we were in Tennessee a week ago, as we mentioned. The last 7 minutes were outstanding for the Colts, but leading up to that, he was banged around, and that's been the case for most of the year. He's been dropped to the ground more than any other quarterback in the National Football League.
Yep, and they try to change it up with a new offensive line combination, but I just don't know if they have the personnel to match the type of passing game that they have. That deep 7-step drop, play-action passing game. He just takes too many shots. You can't sustain that many hits to the quarterback.
Clay Harbor shifts into the H-back position off the play fake. Bortles looking to throw, has time, throws, and it's complete. Alan Hearns. Well, Bortles now 9 of 11 today, Adam. Pretty incredible.
Yeah, he is looking sharp. Throwing on the run. Play action has been terrific. He throws a dart right there to a crossing Alan Hearns. They back it right up. Play action pass, one-on-one coverage on the outside, Allen Robinson. And then for their touchdown, out of the pocket again, throwing in coverage. It's a pretty good first half right now for Bortles.
Yeah, gain of 6. Here's Yeldon, who bounces off one defender. That was David Parry, right into the arms of another, Henry Anderson. And it'll be 3rd down and 4. The comparison, as Adam talked about earlier, play action compared to regular drops. Bigger yards with the play action. Bortles spent the offseason out in California for 2.5 months working on protection assignments and working on mechanics with Tom House, the former Major League pitcher. Under 5 here in the first half, and it's complete to Alan Hearns, and it looks like he's got a first down. It depends on the spot, but he got past the marker before Vontae Davis wrapped him up.
Well, this is all about pre-snap recognition. And they're going to motion Brian Walters to try identify, is this zone coverage, is this man coverage? And he sees at the corner out there, Vontae Davis playing very loose, very soft in a 3rd and short situation, just an easy speed out. And the timing that Bortles gets the ball out looked pretty good.
Jacobs in the backfield, Yeldon. And Yeldon gets maybe a yard or 2. So 2nd down at 8. Eric Walden, David Parry in on the tackle. We've seen Gus Bradley a lot over the last couple of years, you and I, and we love talking to him. In fact, we could stay there for hours talking to him. But he was noticeably excited. It wasn't just lip service about this game after the drubbing they took from the Patriots, because he said the guys came back and they responded well on Wednesday. But he did say he showed them the entire game on Monday and made sure they knew where the mistakes were. On 2nd down and 8, it is Yeldon again. Henry Anderson, Josh McNary in on the tackle for the Colts.
You know, Tom, what I also thought was telling when we talked to not only the confidence that the coaching staff had and the enthusiasm for this game, but Greg Olsen said that Blake really threw the ball well in practice all week. And he thought he was really going to have an exceptional game here. And so far, the practice has carried over to the game.
10 of 12 for 138 yards.
Well, the last 3rd down, the Colts played soft zone. I would expect a little bit of pressure from Greg Minuski.
Mathis is in the game. Bortles stays in the pocket and again has Hearns on the outside. Darius Butler in on the coverage. Gain of 9. That's the 7th reception for Hearns today, Adam.
Well, Darius Butler is in coverage, inside leverage. They are bringing pressure, but Bortles calmly stands in the pocket, finds the mismatch. Hearns beats Butler to his leverage, and another pass right on the mark.
Hearns now 7 receptions, 62 yards in this first half. Jacksonville with 2 timeouts off the play fake. Bortles steps up in the pocket, has time again. His pass is complete to Clay Harbor. That's a tough catch, covered up by DeQuell Jackson.
You know what really stands out? Not only are his passes accurate and they're on time and he's hitting the right receivers, but it looks like his pre-snap command of what's happening. Understanding what defense he's seeing out there and knowing exactly where to go with the football almost before the play starts is what you're seeing. This is positive growth from Bortles. Now the next step is to make it consistent and to be able to do it throughout the entire game.
Consistency and accuracy as we head toward the 2-minute warning. He just gets the snap off. Pass is deflected high in the air, and it's caught. Allen Robinson was able to outjump Vontae Davis for the reception. Boy, that could have been disastrous for the Jaguars. We have reached the 2-minute warning, 1:55 to play. The Jaguars with a little luck and a little athleticism on this particular play. Colts are facing a 1st and 10 from the 41 of, Jaguars are facing a 1st and 10 from the 41 of Indianapolis. This drive, 8 plays so far, 39 yards. Yeldon again, and Yeldon falls down at the 35, a gain of 6. Butler in on the tackle. Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, join JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cower for all the latest NFL scores and highlights, as well as a preview of Thursday Night Football between the Colts and the Texans on CBS and the NFL Network. That's all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. Jaguars again with 2 timeouts left. Bortles pumps once, throws middle, pass complete middle to his favorite target, Allen Hearns, and he's inside the 20 to the 15. Well, he says that he doesn't have a favorite target, but he said that Hearns is always in the right spots.
So it's a clear out, and then Hearns is going to be wide open over the middle. Mercedes Lewis goes down the field, takes out the linebacker, Josh McNary. And then Darius Butler has to try and get over the top. Again, Blake Bortles finding the right guy.
Gain of 19, Bortles flips it out of bounds. That's a good decision. It looked like he wanted to go to Robinson on the right side, but there is a flag down. Ed Hockley, the referee for today's ball game.
There was no foul for holding on the play. 2nd down.
All right, so that pass right there broke a string of 9 straight completions. So a lot of green, Adam, including a touchdown pass of 8 yards.
Yep, he's finding the right matchups, and even when his guys are in coverage, his ball location has been perfect. There really isn't much to nitpick on Bortles right now. This is exactly what they want their quarterback to do, exactly how they want him to run the offense.
Harbor, the tight end, is on the left side of the offensive line, and the handoff goes to Yeldon. Yeldon dancing around and taken down from behind inside the 15-yard line. 47 seconds left to play here in the first half. Josh McNary in on the tackle. Gus Bradley wants his team to convert, but he also wants them to be smart, not make mistakes like last week in New England, throwing an interception when they could have settled for a field goal at the end of the first half.
Yeah, but they need to score touchdowns. Good offenses score touchdowns, not field goals. Allen Hearns has been the go-to target in key situations. He's lined up at the bottom and off coverage.
Bortles is looking to that spot, and now he'll roll. He's under pressure, and he just flips it out of bounds. 9 seconds to play, and Jacksonville will indeed settle for a field goal attempt.
Well, outside of that last touchdown drive by Jacksonville, Indianapolis playing a pretty good bend but don't break defense. And that's one thing that if you do anything, you got to keep them out of the end zone. At 3 points, you keep this a very close game. Missed opportunity for Jacksonville, but you got to tip your hat to the Colts D.
Well, this will be a 32-yard field goal attempt by Jason Myers out of Marist College. He is 6 of 7 on field goal attempts. Good snap, and man, that's a bullet right through the uprights. And the Jaguars retake the lead with 4 seconds to play. Well, speaking of the Jaguars, Blake Bortles and some of his offensive linemen did a nice thing the other day. Tuesday, a group of his teammates surprised a group of Special Olympians at their flag football practice. The Jaguars practiced with the team and taught some fundamentals. Special Olympics is a program that works with children with disabilities to be active through sports. Well, what we've seen for Blake Bortles, you and I saw him a few times last year, it's totally different. He's more composed, his decisions are better, and he looks much more comfortable as an NFL quarterback right now.
And he's playing in a different system. And it was interesting when we talked to him last night, and he said, well, you know, Greg Olson's system it's more complex, but it's more defined. There's not as much gray area. So there's a lot of things that I have to learn. We really are heavy in protections, but because there's rules and places to go, I feel much more comfortable about how to run this offense.
And he worked on those protections in the offseason with Zane Beadles, his left guard. They spent a lot of time together talking football, watching film, and going over those protections.
Well, when you're sacked 55 times, and we asked him, what was your offseason priority list? He said, I watched tape with Zane Beadles every day, and I wanted to learn protections. I think that's very wise for Bortles.
We asked him, did you feel like you were sacked 55 times? He said, you know, honestly, I didn't feel that way. Here's Dorsett from the 1-yard line. And he'll just fall down with 2 seconds, 1 second. They might have time to run a play. We'll see.
You're not going to run a play from your 10-yard line.
Well, they'll have time to maybe take a knee if they choose to. That is the end of the first half with the score, the Jaguars 13 and the Colts 10. We'll be back with the Verizon Halftime Report after this message and a word from our local station, the maturation of Blake Bortles. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 50. 13-10, Jacksonville on top of Indianapolis here at halftime. Let's take a look at the DirecTV Ultimate Picture Cam. Well, this was a touchdown pass from Blake Bortles to Allen Hurns. This is Bortles rolling and then throwing on the run, and a great catch by Hurns. That's part of the bright spot that is the Jacksonville Jaguars from this first half, along with Adam Archuleta. I'm Tom McCarthy. All right, we knew Andrew Luck wasn't going to play about 90 minutes before the game. Matt Hasselbeck was confident when we talked to him. What's going on with the Colts right now?
Well, the Colts with Andrew Luck started the season not in sync offensively, and I think it's more the same today. Really, we talked about at length that you have to support Hasselbeck. The role players have to step up. They haven't done that. Frank Gore has had some drops. They haven't been able to convert, get their running game going. So I think just getting back in sync and making the plays that are there to allow them to sustain some drives are the key.
Well, take a look at the first half statistics. I think we've both been impressed with the balance of the Jaguars. They've run for 40 yards, but Blake Bortles 14 of 18 for 179 yards. The penalties, that was one of the big issues for the Jaguars in the first half.
If you're looking at Jacksonville, you have to keep doing what you're doing. You are getting a tremendous game from Blake Bortles, but TJ Yeldon has to come through, and you got to be able to capitalize more in the red zones. You have to get touchdowns and not field goals. And defensively, they put a really good game today. The difference being penalties. On Indianapolis' only touchdown drive of the game, 5 defensive penalties have been the real difference.
All right, so the last time they led against Indianapolis at halftime was back in Week 17 of 2012. So the Jaguars will get it to begin the second half. Corey Grant will just take it to the back of the end zone, and here comes Blake Bortles. We mentioned his numbers, 14 of 18 for 179 yards. For Hasselbeck, he's thrown 21 times. Is that more than you anticipated for Hasselbeck, 21 times?
Yeah, I think a little bit, but most of it has been very quick, so that he's not in a lot of danger. He did get hit one time by Chris Clemens, another one down in the red zone, but it's just the inability of getting Frank Gore going, and that has to be the case. You know, he has to be a big part of this second half for them to have success offensively.
On a bright sunshiny afternoon, we begin the second half. Bortles off the play fake. And he'll roll to the far side. This is sometimes where he's at his best, and he's going to keep it himself and slide down toward the 30-yard line. All right, let's take a look at our mid-game report card. Adam, take it away.
Well, I think it's been great for Jacksonville. They have won first downs. Of their 13 first down snaps so far in this game, only 5 of them for negative yardage. And don't forget the big play action passes down the field. Defense, they had an impact play, forcing a fumble by Jonathan Cyprien. And for Indianapolis, they've made mistakes. They've had drops, and they have failed to make Jacksonville one-dimensional.
Yeah, Yeldon 12 carries, 40 yards. Bortles is the only other one just now who's run the ball. That was a gain of 9 yards. Bortles from the middle, passes complete to Lewis. And Lewis up to the 42. That's a little better than a catch for no yards like they had in the first half with him.
It's another really good pass. Mercedes Lewis, who has been absent from the offense here in the first 3 games, one-on-one on Josh McNary. And again, Blake calmly in the pocket in a very small little window right there, leads Lewis perfectly.
Gain of 13 yards. It's first down from the 42. Lewis is player 1 of 2 solid tight ends the Jacksonville Jaguars thought they had at the beginning of the year. The other one.
Start offense, number 78, 5-yard penalty. First down.
The other one was Julius Thomas, who they're hoping to get back in the next couple of weeks. The guy they signed from the Denver Broncos. He is a playmaker.
And when you look at this offense, they don't have the speed dimension that they should have. Imagine if Marquise Lee comes back, if Denard Robinson, who gives you that ability at running back, and then Julius Thomas, who has that game-breaking ability. 24 touchdowns for him in the last 2 seasons alone.
Penalty of 5 yards. It's first and 15. Bortles quick toss to the near side for Harbor. And Harbor gets 3 yards. Dwight Lowry in on the coverage.
Another example of Bortles seeing the pressure by Eric Walden. Again, he sees the matchup. Dwight Lowry is playing off on the tight end. And right there, right in the hands, easy catch for the tight end. And again, coming out looking extremely sharp so far in the second half.
16 of 20, 195 yards for Blake Bortles. That's Harbor in the backfield, joining T.J. Yeldon. Yeldon from the backfield is met immediately and taken down. That is Josh McNary, who is playing a lot today because Jarrell Freeman was injured in the first half.
Well, good pocket awareness for Bortles, sensing the inside pressure and knowing where his outlet receiver is. A terrific catch by T.J. Yeldon, but even better open field tackle out there by Josh McNary. That's a tough tackle in space against a great athlete.
Let's keep an eye on Mathis. There he is on his knee on the left side, and a flag comes in.
Timeout, Indianapolis, before the flags were thrown for too many men on the field. That's their first.
We saw that with Jacksonville in the first half, and now we see it with Indianapolis in the second half. Tonight on 60 Minutes, they look like they are from the future, but they are riding on our roads right now. Driverless cars on 60 Minutes tonight, only CBS. Well, Greg Olson told us that they've been trying to get the tight ends in the mix. Today they have 5 receptions. You know, this offense is based on a 2 tight end set. He said that they usually have packages for the tight ends. They just haven't been able to get it to them.
Yeah, and even Bortles said, look, we've had a lot in for our tight ends, but it seems like every time they're taken away from the defense. And the one thing that you can't do that he's had a tendency of doing here in the first part of the season is force it into coverage. Today he's been able to make the right decision, and it's paid off.
That's Mathis lurking over to the left side. He is a designated pass rusher now on 3rd down. Bortles running away from Mathis to the middle of the field. Pass is complete to Walters, and he's got a first down.
Well, speed rush from Robert Mathis, and it was a pretty good job in pass protection. You can see Bortles felt the pressure coming from his right side. Walters comes over from the other side of the field, and again, Bortles on the move with a perfect pass to Walters. the sole veteran receiver on this team. Good awareness from Bortles and making something happen again on third down.
Lowry jumped up as if he was going to blitz. Now he pulls back on first down. It's a gain of 14 when they faced a 3rd and 13. Hand off to Yeldon. And Yeldon slips one defender and is inside the 40 down to the 38-yard line. Jonathan Newsom, Mike Adams make the tackle for the Colts.
The thing that sticks out when you watch TJ Yeldon run is his feet. And that ability to make those subtle little cuts with speed right there. Bjorn Werner has a chance. He's outside contained, but Yeldon does not give him a target. He can't get his body on him. And a pretty good run, 9 yards on first down. That's what they need.
I don't know if it's a big deal or not, but he's been carrying the ball in his left hand most of the year because he had that broken right hand. They said he's comfortable with it. Now he's got it in his right hand, and he stumbles inside the 30. There is a flag that sits at the 38. Dwight Lowry makes the tackle. And this may come back.
Holding offense, number 78. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat second down.
Well, that's Jeremy Parnell, the free agent pickup out of Dallas. That hole was wide open, but that was right over Parnell, who got caught with the hold.
Parnell, who the Jaguars love because he brings a little nastiness, Gus Bradley said, into the room.
And he said you don't want him in this meeting room right now. He'd want to fight somebody.
Second down at 11. Corey Grant checks in. Again, Yeldon has been the only guy that's had a rushing attempt aside from the one by Bortles. Colts show blitz. Here comes Walden. Pass is complete to Harbor. And Dwight Lowry is there to cover him up. Well, TJ Yeldon's had himself a decent day for the Jaguars.
Well, the key is going to have to be for that offensive line to give him something. He can't get hit before he gets going in the backfield or at the line of scrimmage. But if you give him a little bit, well, then that's all he needs to work with. And you give him that little space, he's got great vision, great instincts, and a guy that I think is going to be a nice feature as this offense goes on this season.
That would be just under 4 yards per carry. It's 3rd down and 9. Bernard Pierce, the veteran's in the backfield. Here comes the blitz. Bortles is wrapped up and he lets it fly. It's incomplete. Clayton Geathers, the former teammate of Blake Bortles from UCF, was the guy who was applying the pressure.
Well, a great job. Clayton Geathers is a rookie. And it's pretty interesting, out of Central Florida, one of Blake Bortles' teammates.
Yep.
And they use him a lot inside as a linebacker on those dime packages to give them some speed, some coverage ability, maybe some matchups on some tight ends. But for the second time today, made a pretty good play.
Geathers, who was a running back when he arrived at UCF, and George O'Leary said, we're going to put you in the secondary. He said, no, I don't want to be a defensive back. And he said now he's thankful for it because he's in the National Football League as well, and takes the ball up close to the 15. So the Jaguars lead it by 3, but Matt Hasselbeck within reach with 9:20 to play here in the 3rd quarter. Well, at halftime we wondered where all the cookies had gone, and Jim Rickoff, our producer, is keeping a watchful eye over them. Chris Svensson is next to him. Andy Friedman is behind, directing traffic. It's 1st down from the 14 for the Colts. It's a 3-point Jacksonville lead. And Hasselbeck, a quick drop and a slant, incomplete. Intended for Andre Johnson. Aaron Colvin nearly picked that one off. Well, these are the first half possessions for the Colts. Now, they did get the touchdown. 13 plays, 80 yards, but there were 5 Jacksonville penalties that helped the cause. Continuity with Andrew Luck not in there. These guys are trying to find some consistency with Matt Hasselbeck. It does take time with a backup quarterback.
Well, you've seen it. It takes time with Andrew Luck. They haven't been able to find that chemistry in the first 3 games outside of that 7 minutes in the 4th quarter against Tennessee. So an offense that's been struggling to find itself now has to do it with a quarterback with a much different skill set.
Play clock at 2. Hasselbeck to throw again. Pass is complete this time to T.Y. Hilton. Oh, they're going to say incomplete. They're going to say he did not have possession as he fell to the ground. It'll be 3rd down.
You see that little quick release, but this time Devon House plays it nicely. Devon House has had a really nice day in man-to-man coverage, and that's, we talked about it earlier, these big corners, against a guy like T.Y. Hilton, so quick out of his breaks playing press coverage. That's not an easy assignment, but they've held up very well today against the Colts.
Over from the Green Bay Packers. Had some hydration issues a couple weeks ago against the Dolphins. Third down for Hasselbeck. Has plenty of time. Middle of the field. Diving catch from Moncrief, and a flag comes in on the other side of the field. Well, that was right on time from Hasselbeck to Dante Moncrief.
Before the pass was thrown, holding defense number 31. That penalty is declined. The play results in a first down.
So they'll take the gain of 21 in the first down.
This is all about attacking the inside linebacker. Dorsett is going to come right here, which occupies the eyes of Puzlesny. And then from behind, you're going to watch Dante Moncrief come open in that second window. Puzlesny has to get more depth. He jumps up on Dorsett, and Hasselbeck throws it right there on the hash mark where that pass is supposed to be.
Hasselbeck 13 of 24, 131 yards. The handoff to Gore up the middle, and Gore's got some positive yards. He was underwater for most of the first half, but that's a big gain right there to 41. Well, what's on the line here is that the Indianapolis Colts have won 14 straight within the division. It matches the Cowboys from the 93-94 season. And a win today would put them even with the 72-73 Dolphins, who won back-to-back Super Bowls. Gore again. Looks like he's got a first down. All right, Adam, I know at halftime you and I were discussing what the Colts needed to do. You felt like they still needed to go to Gore and not be one-dimensional.
Well, absolutely. We're only talking about a three-point game, and they tried to feature Gore early in the passing game. That didn't work. And then as they tried to sprinkle in some runs, that didn't have a lot of success either. But you know, that offensive line, they just got a great kick-out block by Hugh Thornton pulling from the right side to give Gore some space.
That's about to throw. Looks up to the middle of the field under pressure, and he's going down. He flipped the ball as he was going down. He's got Gore up toward midfield and inside Jacksonville territory. No in the grasp. It's a gain of 9 yards. Avery Jones was bringing down Matt Hasselbeck. How about that?
Well, just a terrific job by Hasselbeck trying to make something happen. Boy, Jones thought he had himself a sack. Good coverage downfield. Took away Hasselbeck's first option. He's trying to go right there to Fleener. A lot of contact in that secondary. Has to pull it off, pull it down, and then Frank Gore gets a big pickup to pick up the first down.
Gore with 19 all-purpose yards on this drive. It's second down and 1. Josh Robinson, who fumbled earlier, is in the game for the Colts. Hasselbeck trying to run for the first down, but Colvin makes a terrific open field tackle.
Well, you can see, you know, when the game first started, it was a lot of passes to the running back and a lot of quick timing passes. And they started out this drive with some slants. But then they worked in some intermediate routes, and now they're trying to attack downfield a little bit. A lot of the things that Andrew Luck is so good at. So the Jaguars defensively now, if they want to go to that drop back passing game, the front four has to start to apply pressure and put some stress on the quarterback.
Facing a third down and 3. They need to get inside the 45 for a first down.
Got a matchup right there. Kobe Fleener on a linebacker.
Hasselbeck sees that, but instead goes to Gore, who slips a tackler and is inside the 35-yard line. Thurston Armbrister had Gore, but Gore slipped right away from him.
It's just a slant flat combination, a dragon route, and Frank Gore gets to the edge, the corner, before Thurston Armbrister. And one missed tackle. He gets upfield, and the Colts in business. Good-looking drive. This is exactly what they needed to come out, get some consistency, make some plays, move the offense down the field.
Looks a lot like the 98-yard drive a week ago in Tennessee, where they got comfortable with each other. On first down, Hasselbeck eludes one defender, throws to the far side for Hilton, but he overthrows him. How about Hasselbeck moving away from the hands of Andre Branch on that play?
Good speed rush outside by Andre Branch. That was a mismatch because they had Kobe Fleener, who is more of a wide receiver, who has the assignment. Tough assignment. You're going to see at the top of the screen, number 80. A good pocket movement by Hasselbeck to avoid that pressure. Just couldn't connect downfield.
Second down. Hasselbeck working out of the shotgun. And we've got movement. It looks like Andre Branch moved a little too soon.
Neutral zone infraction, defense number 90. 5-yard penalty. It's second down.
Second down and 5. 3-point deficit for the Colts. Let's go to New York with JB for an update.
Hey, Bart, here's why you keep your head in the game.
Andy Dalton scrambles and finds Brandon Tate. Levitation, full extension, reception. Heads up, gets up, not touched before he's down. Cincinnati leads 21-12.
That's staying alert. Tom McCarthy, Adam Archuleta.
Cincinnati looking for their first 4-0 start. Wow, I mean, they have played so well offensively, but I think they've played even better defensively this year. We've got another penalty here on second down and 5.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, second down.
All right, so they get the 5-yard penalty, but now they give it right back with the delay of game.
Yeah, Matt Hasselbeck thought that he had a matchup and was changing the play at the line of scrimmage. That's what 56 passing attempts in the last 2 seasons is going to get you a little bit rusty out there. Got to look at that play clock.
So the play clock is winding down to 10. It's only the second penalty. Frank Gore is stretched out to the near side as a receiver. Hasselbeck looking to his left. His pass is complete to Moncrief. That was kind of a safety valve pass right there. A gain of 5, making it a manageable 3rd and 5. Actually, they're going to spot it at the 30, so it'll be 3rd down and 6. Well, he is engaged. There's no question about that. He's talking to the coaching staff. He's got the earpiece in. He could hear the calls to Matt Hasselbeck. Hasselbeck told us that he thought he'd be the mentor to Andrew Luck. He said, honestly, he's been a mentor to me. He said he's remarkably intelligent. They need 6 yards. Here comes the pressure. He lost the football. The Colts fall on top of it. But they have moved the ball back to the 40, and they're right on the edge of field goal range. Ryan Davis knocked it away. And they're going to be forced to punt here.
It's the same thing they did earlier in the game. Chris Clemens looping around, and there's nobody to block him. It looks like the center out there, Khaled Holmes, did not get his vision back to pick up that looper. And again, Chris Clemens gets the early pressure. Nice job getting the ball out.
So McAfee's on to punt. Don't forget he faked a punt the other day. He did that totally on his own because the snap from Matt Overton was wide of where he was standing. Well, the shame of it is they were in field goal range to possibly tie it. Instead they punt. And that ball takes a huge Jaguars bounce, and then it was touched by a Jaguar and picked up by the Colts. Davon House for some reason tried to pick it up for the Jaguars, and the Colts recover it. But was it a touchback?
Well, I think the rule says that when the Colts player touches it, then that's a live ball. The ball should be dead where Clayton Geathers touched the ball.
I got you.
And so, at least when I played, it should be Jaguars' ball.
If you're Davon House, though, you cannot go after that football.
Well, no, because you should know that if that ball is dead and the Colts can't recover it, then you try and make something happen.
Oh, I got you.
The ball was first touched illegally by a member of the kicking team. The ball will be placed at that spot. Receiving team's ball, first down.
Great call on your part, Adam. Rules have not all changed since you played. Even though it seems like a long time ago, they haven't changed every rule.
Well, you can't hit people like you used to, so you think the game has changed. But you're actually taught.
The ball is just placed at the spot that the ball was first touched by the kicking team.
So you're taught when you are on the punt return team that if an offensive player touches the ball, you go try and make something happen because there's no consequence.
Excellent call on your part. Jaguars are pinned with their backs against the wall. Next Sunday, the NFL and CBS puts on a doubleheader excitement. First, the Rams rumble with the Packers while the Bills battle the Titans. Then, the Patriots and the Cowboys show off. Check local listings beginning with a team that'll take it as Super Bowl 50. JB, Tony, Bart, Coach, and Boomer on the NFL Today. Well, with Adam Archuleta, I'm Tom McCarthy. So the punt by McAfee moves the ball inside the 1 for the Jaguars. Jaguars fans Colts fans are quiet when they have the ball, not so quiet when the opposition has the ball. You want pressure here, Adam?
You need to let your D-line get after it.
Bortles quick toss, and he has Allen Robinson for some breathing room. Darius Butler with the tackle. It's a nice play. A gain of nearly 9 on the play.
You know what, Tom? You're right. It's a little thing, but that is a really good play because it's a run-pass option. He sees off coverage. He throws a low-risk pass outside, and then you get a chance to get a little bit of breathing room. So, again, Blake Bortles with his pre-snap recognition.
Hand off to Yeldon, and Yeldon has the first down. Up to the 13. Zach Kerr makes the tackle for the Colts. So they move the chains for Jacksonville. The first down. On a drive that began inside the 1. Only the second possession for Gus Bradley's team so far in this second half. That's a huge number right there, gaining nearly 10 yards on first down.
You said they had to win first down, a key aspect to the game.
Off the play fake, Bortles. Pressure's coming, throws to the near side, and he threw it a little bit too close to the sidelines for Robinson, and Kerr was coming in on his face.
And here's the big thing for them on offense is that they've played a clean game. They haven't had any mistakes. You just see Robinson out there working on Butler. One of the only passes that have been off target, but they have to continue here in the second half. Blake Bortles, no mistakes, live to play another down, and continue to make great decisions.
On second down, Yeldon. And Yeldon up across the 15. David Parry, DeQuell Jackson make the tackle for the Colts. Now they're going to bring in their pass rush team. It includes Mathis. Now entering today, we talk about Bortles' success in the first half. That was the case this week. What's he going to do in the second half, Adam? He's got to pick those numbers up.
Well, that's the next step in his development. You've seen him improve so much from where he was last year, and then it's about consistency. You know, keep it going and make sure that you can put 4 quarters together.
6 for 8 so far in the second half here, facing a third down. Third down and 6. He throws to the far side, incomplete, nearly intercepted by Lowry. Trent Cole was putting pressure on him, and I'm not sure if he hit him a little bit as he let that ball go.
Yeah, that ball didn't come out of his hand right, and I think he just got to him as he tried to get rid of it. You see Trent Cole coming around that corner.
Yeah.
You see that. Boy, so close. That could have been a fumble. Could have set up that offense inside the 15-yard line. But I like the Colts being more aggressive. Outside, not a lot of room for Bortles to throw the ball downfield.
Colts should get good field position with Whalen back deep to receive. Anger's punt is a high one. Flags come down. Whalen decides he's going to try to return it. And he is taken down at the 33-yard line. It's a punt of 50 yards. Corey Grant in on the tackle for special teams. The side judge is the one who threw the flag. That is Greg Meyer. Going to go against Jacksonville.
Number 41 of the kicking team went out of bounds on his own. That's a 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 4th down.
All right, let's watch Nick Marshall here.
You see him at the bottom of your screen. So again, special teams, the rule is if you go out of bounds, the defense has to force you out of bounds. You can't use the sideline to your advantage and run down the field without getting blocked. That time, Nick Marshall tried to take the sideline, and that's an easy call.
How much of that is an experience for Nick Marshall, a former quarterback at Auburn, who's just learning to be a defender and a special teams player?
Gus Malzahn didn't put him at gunner at Auburn. Well, you know, Nick Marshall does have some defensive back experience in his younger days,
Yeah.
but I'm pretty sure that he doesn't have a lot of gunner experience.
Well, negates a punt that netted 50 yards, but it moves Anger back about 3 yards deep in the end zone. Rick Whalen will move up a few yards.
Oh, I'm getting tested on my special teams rules today.
Yes, you are.
It's a pop quiz.
And it's a good thing you studied. Whalen was not called for the fair catch, and he's got some room to run. And right past the goal 50-yard line. Great field position for Hasselbeck. Marshall with the special teams tackle. Colts trail it by only 3. Colts cheerleaders dressed in pink for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. All right, so this is the way the AFC South looks as of today. Now, Tennessee has a bye. Houston's getting beat pretty bad. So it's an early opportunity to take the lead in the AFC South if you're the Colts or the Jaguars.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's the beginning of the year. You can't have whatever is the situation. 3 losses to start the year is not where you want to be. And the Jaguars just trying to do something to give them confidence. And the Colts as well, trying to get 2 in a row.
Hasselbeck off the play fake, rolling, throwing on the run, has T.Y. Hilton. Well, Indianapolis, as we've talked about over the last couple of weeks, has owned the South. They're 17-2 against the AFC South, and the turnover differential is huge compared to the rest of their opponents.
Well, and it's almost 100% quarterback driven. I mean, that's just what it is. The Colts have had exceptional quarterback play for the past 15 years, and the rest of the AFC South, I mean, really haven't had a chance to compete.
And up goes to Gore, running right, steps inside, down inside the 35. Audric, who's been quiet in his pursuit of the quarterback, makes the tackle of Frank Gore.
Yeah, this is a place that the Colts have to capitalize. You're getting this field position, and what they gain about 18 yards because of the Nick Marshall penalty, so it really set them up. So they really have to take advantage of this right now. It's not every day that you're able to get set up on the other side of the 50 against the other team's defense.
Second down at 6. Here comes the pressure by Jacksonville. Quick toss to T.Y. Hilton. Breaks away from Devon House, but Colvin is there to clean it up. It's a loss of 1.
Devon House has been all over the field today, which is tough. T.Y. Hilton in open space with 2 lead blockers out there on the wide receivers, and House has enjoyed a terrific day today in man-to-man coverage, and again coming up and making a tackle in space against a special athlete.
There's Nick Marshall. His penalty gave the Colts an extra 18 yards to begin this drive, so that's the final play of the third quarter. We have 15 minutes left. The game's still in the balance with the Jaguars on top by 3. We begin the fourth quarter. Indianapolis with the ball, but facing a 3rd down and 8 at the 35-yard line. Jacksonville on top by 3, 13-10. Matt Hasselbeck has been quarterbacking the team the entire game. Andrew Luck out with a shoulder injury sustained last week in the game against the Titans.
Here's this look right here. Watch Chris Clemens. The same blitz they've been getting him on all game.
He curls in. The pass complete, though, to T.Y. Hilton, who has a first down. He wants a little bit more, and he's inside the 20. Cyprian makes the tackle, but T.Y. Hilton with just his 5th reception of the day for 17 yards.
Well, here it was, but this time it was picked up. And good things happen when you pick it up and you allow your receivers to do the work. Excellent move again for T.Y. Hilton to get open. But finally, the offensive line picks up Chris Clemens looping from the outside.
Matt Hasselbeck now 19 of 31, 186 yards. From the 18-yard line on first down. The handoff to Gore, running right. He tried a little high step, now steps inside. And still powers his way close to the 15. Cyprian makes the tackle. I think Frank Gore thought he should have gotten a little bit more out of that. He's probably didn't read the hole the way he wanted to.
Oh, it was, well, he had a little bit of an edge, but boy, it was great team speed from Jacksonville, especially from that secondary. Jonathan Cyprian, Devon House forcing it from outside in, but you see a lot of white shirts around Frank Gore in that picture.
Paul Posluszny looks like he's shaking out his right leg on the sidelines. That's a huge guy to not have in the lineup right now if you're the Jaguars. Second down, they loft it toward the end zone for T.Y. Hilton, and it's just past his fingertips. Aaron Colvin was in on the coverage. Odrick was pressuring Hasselbeck.
T.Y. Hilton, number 13 in the slot, and out and up. Colvin all over it. Great body position, turns his head to play the ball. Nowhere for Hasselbeck to throw it.
We were told that Paul Posluszny is out with an ankle injury, and his return is questionable. That is a huge loss. First on the team in tackles coming in.
Andre Johnson is right here. There's nobody on top of him.
On third down, Hasselbeck looks to the middle, breaks away, throws on the run, has Moncrief. Can he get to the first down marker? Boy, he's awfully close. Chris Clemens made the tackle. And an injured Jaguar player, I think that's Aaron Colvin, who's down on the turf. So it is Colvin. So they'll tend to him. The Colts may or may not have a first down when we return. The weekend starts when these Indianapolis Colts and the Houston Texans match macho on Thursday Night Football on CBS and the NFL Network. J.B. Clowney, J.J. Watt, will Andrew Luck be back? We'll see.
Well, here's where you'll see a lot of growth from Moncrief. I don't know if they're going to get this first down, but he reads coverage, and he's going on a shallow cross, but he realizes it's zone coverage, linebackers dropping off deep, and he sits down right there. Hasselbeck sees him, and there's a lot of open space. You know, you see Aaron Colvin come in there and dive at the last second, but that's good coverage recognition. All
right, so they decide instead of 4th and inches to go for the field goal. You like this decision here?
Yeah, I think it's smart. Tie it up and see how the rest of the quarter plays out.
Terry already 1 for 1 today on field goal attempts. McAfee is the holder. They're trying to draw off the Jaguars. Boy, they really were trying to draw off the Jaguars. So they're going to take the penalty.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
Well, you want to talk about confidence in a 42-year-old place kicker.
Yeah, why not? You know, it's not every day. Tom McMahon, the special team coach, he knows what he's got right there, number 4. So let's try and bring the clock down, get Jacksonville to try and jump off sides and get an easy first down.
Well, this will be a 32-yard field goal attempt instead of a 27-yarder to put him over 1,000 points in his career as a member of the Indianapolis Colts. Good snap, great hold, kick is on its way, and nope, it didn't matter. And we're tied at 13. 12:27 to play here in the 4th quarter. Both teams 13. On to Late Show, it's Senator John McCain. And Tuesday, Stephen welcomes former President Bill Clinton. Don't miss it, only CBS. Well, Adam, I know that you are well aware of Adam Vinatieri's abilities dating back to the Super Bowl.
Thank you, Tom.
I don't mean to bring it up. But he's the first player in NFL history with 1,000 or more points with 2 different teams, of course the Patriots being the other one. He's pretty special when you talk about place kickers at 42 years old, and it doesn't look like it doesn't look like he's at the finish line just yet.
No, he is. And regardless of what position you play, when you can play this game past 40 and still do it at a high level, it's impressive. But Tom, I think I'm going to put you on my hit list for bringing that up.
Here's the kickoff that'll send Grant back out of the end zone. The Jaguars will have it 1st and 10 from the 20. We talk about Bortles' second half numbers during the course of his career. All right, he's had tests, obviously, in the year that he's been the starter for the Jaguars. This is the next step as far as tests go with 12:27 to play.
Yeah, I would say so. You know, you got the first half really, outside of stalling in the red zone, it couldn't have gone any better for Bortles and this offense. But, you know, obviously to play quarterback, you got to be able to put it together. So here you are in the 4th quarter. The game's tied 13-13. This is where you have to be at your best.
The ball goes into the hands of Tony Washington, his first touch of the day, and Washington tackled by DeQuell Jackson, and he gets up across the 25.
It could be a lonely place as an outside linebacker. Jonathan Newsom Had a chance to make an open field tackle, but that's tough. Tony Washington making a nice move, and again, something that the Jaguars have really enjoyed today, a lot of second and short situations.
Yeah, they've averaged about 9 yards per first down. It's second down and 3. Bortles drops back to pass, pumps once, middle of the field, tried Yeldon. That's a dangerous spot. It's incomplete. DeQuell Jackson in on the coverage. The 10-year veteran out of Maryland.
Well, it was a good job initially by Weldon. Look at him come in there and just put a big stone on there on Newsome. And then Bortles trying to find the check down. Can't quite get it to him. DeQuell Jackson all over it.
4 for 10 on third down opportunities. Mathis is in. He's lined up over Parnell. Third down and 3. Bortles. And a one-handed catch by Walters, and the flags come in right before the reception was made. Well, this may not stand, but that was an unbelievable grab.
Illegal formation offense. The right tackle was uncovered. 5-yard penalty, repeat third down.
Well, it was Jeremy Parnell. We mentioned that Mathis was near him.
Well, Blake Bortles is scanning the field and he sees the matchup. Clayton Geathers, again, the Dom linebacker. Excellent catch out there by Walters, but now 3rd and 8. This is where it has to happen. Even though you had a great first half, offensively, this is a first down you have to pick up.
DeQuell Jackson showing blitz from the middle. Bortles drops back to pass, has time, pass is incomplete, knocked away by Vontae Davis. Alan Hearns was in on the coverage.
Well, Vontae Davis off coverage, curl route, and you see that Hearns doesn't even get Davis to get in his back pedal. He is sitting all over that route. He reads a flat route underneath, knows it's going to be a curl flat combination, comes up there and makes a great pass breakup and gives the ball back to the offense.
There's one spot where there's sunshine, and that's where Griff Wellen is standing right now at the 27-yard line. Anger with a good high kick. Wellen calls for the fair catch. You can see he was shading his eyes from the sun. 11:09 to play here in the fourth quarter. Matt Hasselbeck coming back out, tied at 13. Coming up on the Subway postgame show, join JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cower for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's all coming up on the Subway postgame show. Who will they be spotlighting from this game? We'll find out. 11:09 to play. Here's Gore running left and running hard across the 40 to the 41. Andrew Luck told us this past Friday that last week's second half was a clear indication of the importance of Frank Gore and why the Colts brought him in.
He took over in the fourth quarter. The offense started to catch fire a little bit, and again, you know, all great teams in close games, fourth quarter, the running back has to have a big part in it.
Second down and 2. Hasselbeck rolls the pocket and dumps it off to T.Y. Hilton. Out of bounds inside Jacksonville territory. Devon House in on the coverage. 6th reception for T.Y. Hilton.
That's a good play against double press coverage. Philip Dorsett is going to come in here and just kind of shield off House on T.Y. Hilton. House has to get over the traffic, and that's an easy throw and catch to get T.Y. Hilton on the perimeter.
A gain of 11 yards. If you're wondering about Hasselbeck, who hasn't started a game since November of 2012, in his career, he's had 22 game-winning drives in the fourth quarter. First down from the 48. Off the play fake. Rolling the pocket again. Has time on the run. Incomplete. His intended receiver was Dante Moncrief, but Thurston Armbrister, I don't even know if he realized it, had his arm down where the path of the ball was coming.
It's a great recovery because he's here, and you're going to watch Moncrief come there, and then he's just going to roll around once he realizes what's happening. And you talk about a guy that doesn't get a chance to play a lot because of Paul Posluszny, but with the awareness to turn and look up Moncrief coming across the middle was excellent coverage.
Posluszny out with an apparent ankle injury. His return is questionable. Middle of the field, pass is complete. Griff Wellen The ball is loose, but they're going to say he was down. Josh Evans in on the coverage. What did Hasselbeck tell us about Griff Whalen? If anybody knows this offense better, he can't find them.
He says he's like an extra coach. He knows everything, protections, exactly what to do in that meeting room, but this offense coming to life.
Gain of 16. Fleener on first down, out of bounds inside the 25. House again in on the tackle. Boy, they're really picking them apart right now.
Well, and Jacksonville defensively right there, they weren't ready to play. Everybody was standing around. They couldn't get lined up, and Hasselbeck recognized that, snapped the ball, and got the play off.
I'll go back to a point that you made earlier about rhythm and comfort. Luck found it in the last 7 minutes last week, and you said Hasselbeck could find it at any point. It looks like he's finding it right now. Second down and 2. Moncrief in motion. He'll take the handoff. Receiver sweep and a first down. Flags come in late. Or excuse me, it was Dorsett, not Moncrief. Dorsett, the fastest guy in the field.
And they're going to get Telvin Smith for a hit out of bounds. He pushed Dorsett.
Foul, unnecessary roughness defense, number 50. Second act, unnecessary, out of bounds. First down.
It was a love tap, but look at the speed. Look how fast he gets out there. You know, Cyprian does a good job of getting off the block, and boy, that's.
I guess he got to the head.
You know,
eligible 72.
I guess by the letter of the law, but that's
a tough one. Well, it's first and goal from the 10. Hasselbeck asked Pep Hamilton the role they play right back in. Doyle is the fullback. Gore is the tailback. T.Y. Hilton off to the right. That's Fleener in motion. Hasselbeck dumps it off to Gore, and he slips underneath the tackle to the 5. Josh Evans was the one who missed. Who says you can't move and be nimble at 32?
Oh, what a sweet one for number 23 out of the backfield, and then whoop. What a great move by Frank Gore. Got to see what you hit.
Second and goal from the 5. Unbalanced line to the left. The handoff to Gore goes left and then inside. Flags come in. The ball is loose. It's loose in the end zone, and it's picked up by the Jaguars. Well, this is going to be a huge penalty.
Well, Josh Evans, I don't know what the penalty is, but Josh Evans gets revenge and comes in there and knocks that ball out.
Don't forget, he fumbled against the Jets a few weeks ago on an open field play. That one he was hit.
Against the Jets, uncharacteristic, untouched as he was going in. But this one was just a great play by Josh Evans, down playing like a linebacker.
The Eagle formation offense, number 76, was uncovered on the end of the line. That penalty is declined. Jacksonville recovered the ball in the end zone for a touchback. It's their ball on the 20-yard line, first down.
Well, you're right on that hit, Adam. And it's Avery Jones who recovers in the end zone. Gus Bradley said we need some turnovers. Well, this one couldn't have come at a better time for the Jaguars. Never miss a moment of football action with the CBS Sports app. Every play, every story, and every highlight right as they happen. Download the CBS Sports app now at cbssports.com/mobile. Well, Frank Gore has fumbled twice going into the end zone. At least it seems like he's gone into the end zone. This is week 2 against the Jets. Nobody touched him. It wasn't a bad exchange. He just fumbled the ball, and the Jets recovered.
It's so uncharacteristic.
And this is a moment ago where he was hit and fumbles. And now Jacksonville has it first and 10 from the 20. They have forced 2 turnovers today. Jaguars have. Bortles going for it all. Middle of the field, and it's incomplete. He was trying to get Allen Robinson's athletic ability against Vontae Davis. You like that call?
No, I do. I like being aggressive because of how they've been able to work play action. But I don't know if I would attack number 21. He's right there, right in the hip. Robinson jumps it a little bit too early, kind of mistimed. It didn't see the trajectory, but Vontae Davis, again, a nice play in coverage.
Greg Minuski, the defensive coordinator, he's one of the best guys you'll ever talk to in preparation for a game. Second down and 10 from the 20. Bortles quick toss to the right side. It's complete to Hearns, and Hearns out of bounds. Looked like Darius Butler was taking a chance, hoping for an interception.
And you can see his body language after the play. He saw it. And an out route by Hearns, and Butler tries to jump it, come underneath, and that's one thing. If you can't make the play, at the minimum, you got to secure that tackle.
Gain of 13, under 8 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter. Yeldon in the backfield. He'll take the handoff up the middle, and Anderson makes the tackle. Was up to the 38-yard line. TaQuell Jackson in on the tackle. TaQuell Jackson has played well here in the second half. I mean, you wouldn't expect anything less from him, but he's played really well.
Yeah, and outside of the last, this drive and the Jaguars getting a little bit of breathing room, you got to like the way this defense came out after halftime after giving up 210 first half yards. Before this drive, only 73 by Jacksonville. So on the outside, the defensive backs are doing a really good job of challenging these wide receivers and making them work to get separation.
They need to get to the 43 for a first down. Bortles, pocket's still alive, and his pass is incomplete. He was trying to thread it to Mercedes Lewis, and now it's third down and 5.
Who'd you just talk about before? TaQuell Jackson right here in coverage on Mercedes Lewis. Number 52 plays it perfectly. Right there, he forces Blake Bortles to throw it way outside, and again, number 52 making a big play.
All right, so Jacksonville 4 of 11 on third downs. Where are they looking here, Adam?
Well, the guy has been Allen Hearns. You got 3 receivers to the top of the screen, and you're isolated right here on Vontae Davis. Now, I wouldn't challenge number 21, but Hearns has been the guy.
Bortles looking right, throws right, pass complete right. He's got Hearns out toward midfield. TaQuell Jackson in on the tackle, and the composure of Blake Bortles at 23 years of age is evident in this ball game.
I got to apologize. I got mixed up. That was Robinson at the bottom. I thought it was Hearns. But boy, just a simple out curl combination, and he hits it on Josh Thomas. And remember, in the previous drive, they tried the same thing on Davis, but he was all over it. This time, go to the guy who was just signed off the street just 2 weeks ago to pick up the first down.
10 receptions, a career high. Hearns takes a breather. Off the play fake, Bortles being chased, throws on the run. He's just getting rid of it. Jonathan Newsom, the second-year pro from Ball State, who had 6.5 sacks last year, was chasing him down.
And that's one guy. Robert Mathis is coming back. We all know about his 19.5 sacks a couple of years ago. But Jonathan Newsom has to be one of those players that develops into a consistent pass rusher. And he's got the skills. All he needs now is to get a plan, get that first move, build a counter off of it. But he's going to have to come up and allow this defense to get pressure on quarterbacks.
2 tight ends down to the bottom of your screen. Lewis in the slot, Harbor close to the sidelines. Bortles looks toward Lewis, has him. He's not going to get the first down, but he's going to keep his feet moving. Bjorn Werner in on the tackle. Darius Butler was there as well. Under 6 minutes to play. Jacksonville with 3 timeouts left. Gus Bradley said you need spirit and you need to be driven with that spirit. His team had spirit, he said this week. A win today would give them the ultimate spirit. Third down and 3. Bortles hit as he throws. It was Mathis, and it's incomplete. Robert Mathis made his spin move iconic and was able to utilize it right there.
Yeah, but here he is just standing up, no spin move. He's going to wrap around, and the Jaguars offensively, they lose him. He comes up, wraps around, and that left side, led by Luke Jokel and Zane Beadles, fails to pick him up. You don't want number 98 hitting the quarterback on the blind side.
Well, a great job by the Colts defense. Mathis, they hoped, would play 25 snaps today. 13, 20, and 25 today, the last 3 weeks. Whalen back deep to receive inside the 10. Brian Anger is going to get some breathing room with this delay of game penalty.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, it's 4th down.
Gus Bradley, a defensive-minded guy.
Correction, Indianapolis chooses to decline that penalty. It will be declined.
So they declined the penalty. They want Anger to hit the ball into the end zone.
Yep.
Gus Bradley's a defensive-minded guy, and he's looking for his defense to slow up the Colts on this drive.
Well, the Colts, they've kind of caught fire here in the second half.
Yeah.
Defensively, it's just a much different energy, especially by the defense. I mean, they've come out, they've gotten pressure now the last couple drives.
Indianapolis wants the penalty enforced. 5 yards, 4th down.
All right, Ed, thank you very much. Communication's always has been a point of emphasis the last couple of years, but sometimes you misunderstand in this world. Well, and again inside his 10, you see Anger. Just gets off. There may have been a hand in the area. Whelan's going to call for the fair catch at the 10. Billy Wynn was pressuring. So here we go. Matt Hasselbeck at 40 years old, hoping to lead the Colts to a victory. Coming up on the Subway postgame show, join JV, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cower for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's all coming up on the Subway postgame show. Well, if you're the Colts and Matt Hasselbeck, 24 game-winning drives in the fourth quarter or overtime. The last one was in October of 2012. They looked pretty comfortable on the last drive. It was the fumble by Gore that stopped them from scoring.
They looked unstoppable almost. And you started to see a little bit of chemistry and things start to click a little bit for Pep Hamilton's offense.
That's T.Y. Hilton who's in motion, covered by House. Quick toss to Hilton. He has a blocker along the sidelines, and he's trying to keep his bearings. Pretty good game, though, on first down. .509 to play. Gus Bradley is working without James Sample and without Aaron Colvin. Both are out with injuries. And don't forget, Sergio Brown didn't start. He was inactive today because of an injury.
And when you go back to last week, it really limited their call sheet against New England. It really had a hard time being aggressive because of their secondary.
Second down and 2. Hasselbeck doesn't see the pressure, and his ball is deflected. Frank Gore was trying to pick up the pressure. It looked like it was coming from Dan Skuta.
Well, off of the edge, Frank Gore gets driven right back into Matt Hasselbeck. Dan Skuta coming over from the San Francisco 49ers, 5 sacks last season. And they brought him here to kind of be that guy, be a pass rusher on third downs and really good run support. But now that Aaron Colvin is out, that means Dwayne Grotz moves up to the starting corner position, and then Demetrius McCray now becomes the nickel.
Third down and 2 off the fake. They have Dorsett, and Dorsett trying to get to the first down marker, cannot. He was stopped by Josh Evans. And McAfee is coming on to pump the ball away. They're a yard shy of the first down.
This is Josh Evans in back-to-back drives, huge plays. Right here, he's going to fight off the block of Dante Moncrief. He's going to filter through the traffic, and then he's going to make the play right there to force the punt. Wow. I mean, what a play on the goal line on Frank Gore to force the fumble, and then when the defense needs it, to get off the field.
McAfee handles the snap. Walters back deep to receive for Jacksonville. He doesn't call for a fair catch. He's going to try to return it. And he's down quickly at the 31 with 3:55 to play here in the fourth quarter. Colt Anderson with the special teams tackle after a 53-yard punt. Blake Bortles, well, here we go. He's getting another chance in a tie game with 3:55 to play. What's he got to do here, Adam?
This has to be, we know they're young. Blake Bortles here in his second year, TJ Yeldon in his rookie year. In these situations, these two players have to be able to take care of this game. 3 minutes, 55 seconds left. TJ Yeldon has to dominate, and Blake Bortles has to make the throws and be excellent on third down.
If you're wondering, Jason Myers' long this year is 58 yards. Jaguars aren't thinking about that just yet. From the 31, the handoff to Yeldon, looking left, not much there. Anderson wraps him up, and then Parry comes and cleans him up.
Well, I'm not really sure exactly what happened. That had to be an assignment bust because nobody blocked Henry Anderson coming from the left side. David Parry did a great job at the point falling back, but Henry Anderson unblocked. That was an assignment error, and that's where A.J. Cann is playing. You got to wonder, did the rookie right guard drop that assignment?
17 carries, 60 yards for Yeldon, empty backfield. 2 receivers to the top, 2 to the bottom. Bortles to throw. Walters the intended receiver. There was some contact there.
The defense fired up, Tom. This is a different defense. They were on their heels in the first half. Josh Thomas has only been part of this football team for the last 2 weeks. He had a huge play last game that forced a pick 6 by Dwight Lowry. The coverage outside has just been terrific here in the first half. 3rd and 11. Not a place that Bortles in this offense has been in much this game.
Matthews is lined up over Luke Jokel on the left side. Bortles out of the shotgun. Mathis pressures him. He'll roll to the left. He'll throw, and his pass is incomplete. Flags come in. Allen Robinson was the intended receiver. Vontae Davis was in on the coverage.
Yeah, this was an easy call. Vontae Davis was not looking back at the quarterback.
Pass
reached out.
Defense, number 21. The ball is placed at the spot of the foul. First down.
You can see Davis, he's just trying to help out Mike Adams. Mike Adams was in coverage. He loses the coverage because of Bortles escaping the pocket. You see that wicked, nasty move by Mathis on Luke Jokel to get Bortles out of there, but that was all Davis trying to take care of his partner's mistake and got caught with a huge penalty.
Turns out to be a 29-yard gain. You see the penalties for both teams. The Colts with only 4 today, but that's a big one. On first down, bad snap. Bortles picks it up inside Colts territory, and he is down. Werner is there to knock him down at the 44. That's the first bad snap we've seen today with Wisniewski, the 50-year pro, over from the Raiders.
Well, it was low, but it wasn't that bad. That was at Bortles' knee, and he just took his eyes off of it. It happened last week against New England, the same thing. That was a high snap that just kind of came out of his hands. But what a huge mistake right there. You're knocking on the door, and now all of a sudden you get pushed way back. Unbelievable.
They're out of Jason Myers' field goal range. If you consider 58 this year, his range. On second down, Bortles quick toss to the far side for Hearns, and Hearns gets some yardage back with a hurdle down toward the 47 of Indianapolis. Josh Thomas makes the tackle.
Boy, Tom, how big is that? You just got down the field a big pass interference call, and then the snap goes through your hands. Unreal.
We have reached the 2-minute warnings. Buckle up, everyone. We'll see if the Jaguars have a game-winning drive in their belts. Jason Myers was kicking in the Arena League a year ago. You saw where they need to get probably for his range. What are they doing here, Adam, on third down?
You're not having success outside. You got to try and isolate your slot players on a safety.
Bortles looking left, slings it left, incomplete. He was hit as he threw it, and now they're going to have to punt the ball away.
The issue, Tom, is their down the field passing in this game has all come on first and second down off of play action. All their third down stuff has been underneath. It's been quick throws. And so far in this second half, the outside, the corners of Indianapolis have locked down the outside wide receivers. Not a lot of options for Jacksonville on 3rd and 16.
And of course, the bad snap, it wasn't as low as some where Bortles kept his eye off it, really plays into this drive. And the reason the Jaguars are punting here. 7th punt of the day. Whalen back deep to receive. The call for the fair catch. And he'll take it at the 15. All right, it's not terrible field position for the Indianapolis Colts, considering they have 2 timeouts, 1:48 to play, and Vinatieri 35-yard line is probably a comfort zone. But for Vinatieri, if you watched him today in practice, he was booming them from 57, 58, 60 yards. It's a little different, though, in this pressure.
Yeah, well, pressure out. I don't know if that guy feels pressure.
He may not.
Yeah, he has missed a couple this year, but he is a tremendous weapon and a guy that you should be able to rely on to kick a big-time game winner.
That's a 61-yard field goal in practice earlier today. 42 years old. He just wants a chance from the 40-year-old quarterback who's under pressure and goes down at the 10. Let's see if Indianapolis uses a timeout here. Telvin Smith, Andre Branch, they were both in on that sack. He hasn't been knocked down as much as Andrew Luck was last week.
No, they've done a good job of protecting him, and that's Telvin Smith comes in. He's not even supposed to blitz. Frank Gore is his coverage, and because Gore stayed into pass block, he just hugged him up and fell into a sack.
Well, they decide not to use a timeout. 1:15 to play. They have 2 remaining. They dump it off to Fleener, and Fleener's taken down by Cyprien. They're going to have to use a timeout here, right? Some extracurricular activity. Be careful in this spot in the game.
We'll lose the game quick.
Timeout called.
Timeout Jacksonville. That's their first. It's a 30-second timeout.
little chippy at the end. So the timeout is called by Jacksonville with 1:01 to play.
Yep, 3rd and 10. You have you had 3 timeouts, 2 left. You get a big 3rd down stop, you're going to get great field position. Absolutely, Gus Bradley making the right call here. Chris Clemens again looping from the outside up between the center and guard. And boy, you got to like the game that Jonathan Cyprien has had today. He's made some great one-on-one plays out there for the defense.
Hasselbeck out of the shotgun on 3rd down. Play clock is down to 3. And they just get it off with the play clock down to 1. Hasselbeck looking to the sidelines for Moncrief, but he can't get to it. Covered up by Gratz. It'll be 4th down and McAfee will punt.
Big time coverage by Dwayne Gratz, who was the starting corner last year. Had some injuries, lost his starting job, won the nickel job, and because of the injury to Aaron Colvin now, back outside in primary coverage, and does an excellent job on Moncrief, who's been on fire.
Walters back deep to receive a low snap. McAfee handles it and lets it fly. Walters will push back inside the 30, and he'll try to return it. Get some extra yards, nothing doing. Boy, what a special teams play by Winston Guy. 45 seconds to play after a 57-yard punt. 2 timeouts for Jacksonville. We mentioned before they need to get at least to the 40 of Indianapolis to attempt a game-winning field goal, and there's plenty of time to do that.
But Tom, what a great punt and coverage. That's a big-time play right there for Winston Guy in the open field to pin Jacksonville all the way back to their 26-yard line.
Bortles has had a rougher second half, particularly 4th quarter, than first half. From the shotgun, pressure's coming, middle of the field, pass is deflected, and Lewis is able to corral it up to the 34. And a timeout called by Jacksonville.
Well, I think this is what they have to do. They have to attack inside because in the second half, they haven't been able to get open outside the numbers.
Well, we have a timeout here. Let's take a timeout and go to JB in New York.
Philly has won 3 of the last 4 in Washington, but
Kirk Cousins had something to say about that. He takes him on a 15-play, 90-yard drive, capped off by a 4-yard Pierre Garçon touchdown. Washington takes the lead 23-20.
26 seconds left in regulation. Back to Tom and Adam.
Well, that one's going down to the wire, JB. This one's coming down to the wire. Tied at 13 with 38 seconds left. 1 timeout left for Jacksonville.
Well, Bortles has a chance to do something special here. He already has 2 game-winning drives in his career.
And one of them earlier this year against the Dolphins. Bortles has time, throws to the sidelines, incomplete. Intended for Robinson. 34 seconds left. Vontae Davis in on the coverage. So now it's 3rd down.
And there's nothing happening downfield or outside the numbers. Vontae Davis, Josh Thomas, Darius Butler,
locking it down. You have to attack inside. Right now, your only chance is to get matchups with safeties and linebackers, but you're not getting anywhere trying to get Robinson against Vontae Davis.
Yeldon in the backfield. Triangle receivers off to the right. Keep an eye on Robert Mathis, number 98. Bortles under pressure, steps up, he can run, and he's got the first down and more as he dives forward, and he's out to the 48-yard line. They want him to spice the ball and not use a timeout, but time is winding down here after 14-yard gain, and he spikes it.
Wow, what a great play. Oh, by Blake Bortles. I mean, when you have to have it, you're going to get a game inside here, pressure off of his left side, everything is covered. And then he just tucks it, uses instincts, and goes after it. And that was outstanding awareness for Blake Bortles making a play.
A reminder, they need to get to at least the 40-yard line of Indianapolis to be in Jason Myers' range. They can do that with one timeout left and 17 seconds to play. On second down, Bortles steps up, throws to the right. Pass is complete to Lewis. They're right on the outside of 40 yards. And a first down to Quell Jackson in on the tackle, and a timeout called. So 10 seconds left. They're right on the edge of the 40. He's got the leg to boot this one.
You know what? The pocket awareness for Bortles. Late safety blitz by Indianapolis, and he casually slides in and hits Mercedes Lewis.
Well, week 2 against the Miami Dolphins, Jason Myers a 28-yard field goal with 40 seconds left gave Jacksonville the victory. Can he do it again from a deeper distance? Again, he's made a 58-yarder this year. 10 seconds. Do they have time to get to the edge one time here?
Well, you have to get out of bounds. You either got to take a shot or get out of bounds.
They have no timeouts left.
Otherwise, you have zero shot.
Ten seconds to play, and a timeout is called by the Indianapolis Colts. Just as Bortles took the snap, the Colts used a timeout.
And Tom, he has to go to the short side of the field, because going to the wide side of the field, trying to throw a sideline pass out there with Vontae Davis, first of all, that takes a long time to get out there, and you don't want to risk throwing at that cornerback. So this pass has to go to his right, and they have to try and get out of bounds as quickly as possible.
Well, if they decided to kick it here, it would be about a 57, 58-yarder, depending on the spot of the holder. They're taking a chance with 10 seconds left. They have 3 receivers off to the right. Harbor is to the left, covered by Lowry. That's Yeldon in motion out of the backfield with 10 seconds to play. Quick toss to Yeldon, and Yeldon trying to get out of bounds, and he does. Inside the 40, so they get a little breathing room.
That's all you could ask for. Just give him a little bit more space. And TJ Yeldon gets the ball. He's got great hands out of the backfield, explodes upfield, and here you go. Blake Bortles knocking on the door from his 3rd game-winning drive in his career.
So Jason Myers out of Marist College, who last year was kicking in the Arena Football League, will try for his 2nd game-winning field goal of the year. This will be a 53-yarder. Brian Anger is the holder. Carson Tinker is the long snapper. The snap is good. The hold is good. The kick is on its way through the sunshine. It is no good. But there may have been a timeout called by Indianapolis.
Oh, no.
How about that? They have used their final timeout to ice the kicker. Who knows? It may have relaxed the kicker.
You never know.
Play clock is winding down. You can't hear it until after the kick left the foot of Jason Myers. He was kicking for Arizona and San Jose in the Arena League. This will be a 53-yarder to win it and snap the Colts' 14-game winning streak within the division. Anger again is the holder. Good snap, good hold. Kick is on its way. End over end. This time it is no good again. With 1 second left.
Field goal attempt fails. With 1 second left on the clock. First down.
Wow.
Watch it from behind the goalposts. Narrowly missed. The windows are open on that end. Whether that's a factor or not, who knows? There is a very light breeze here this afternoon. Bradley's reaction.
72 is eligible. 72.
Andrew Luck is just hoping for overtime. And that's what the Colts will do here. They'll just take a knee and look to overtime. Hasselbeck does that. Clock winds down to 0, and we have overtime here in Indianapolis. So let's go over the rules for overtime after the miss by Jason Myers. 1 15-minute quarter. A touchdown or safety on the first possession wins the game. If the score is tied after each team's first possession, the next score will win it. It'll become sudden death. 2 timeouts are added for both teams, and no coaches' challenges. Everything is reviewed by the booth at this point. Adam Vinatieri says, I'm fine. I'm ready to go. Just give me a chance.
That's his wheelhouse.
Yeah. He'll walk out with Robert Mathis. For Jason Myers, you know, they traded Josh Scobie. And we saw what happened this past Thursday with Josh Scobie. The kid has got a leg. There's no question about that. Ed Hockley is the referee for today. 2 captains for the Colts, an assortment for the Jaguars.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. We will now begin an overtime period. Jacksonville, it's your choice. We'll call the toss. Tails. Tails is the call. Tails is the call. It is tails. Jacksonville has won the toss. You wish to receive. You'll correct. Let's switch around that direction then. Jacksonville will receive. Good luck, gentlemen.
They won the toss and deferred to start the game. They're not going to defer this time. We'll see what the Jaguars and the Colts have in store for overtime when we return. McAfee is ready to go to kick off as we begin overtime. Jacksonville will get it to start. If they score a touchdown, then this game will be over. First overtime game in this series history, which is remarkable when you think about it. Chuck Pagano told us this week that he's been telling his players you have to have a short memory. You have to look forward. And even though they've had some mistakes in this game, they've got the game right in front of them. McAfee's kickoff. I don't think they're going to allow Grant to return this one. They will not. Out of the end zone. Time to take a look at our game summary from today. We thought it would be tight, and for Bortles, it was a very good first half.
It was an excellent first half. You couldn't have got it any better. The Colts kind of struggled to get it going, but as the game wore on, Matt Hasselbeck and this offense started to get on track. But really the Frank Gore fumble and the inability to cash in and get 6 points. Myers gets a chance for a game-winning field goal, but instead we have overtime.
Jaguars have forced 2 turnovers. They got a touchdown off one of them. The 15-game win streak versus the AFC South is in jeopardy. Bortles under center to start overtime. Ball is deflected and incomplete. Henry Anderson is a big, tall fella at 6'6", and he used those long arms and that big body to deflect that ball.
That great awareness. Remember, they drafted Henry Anderson to kind of be Kendall Langford's backup because Arthur Jones was the other defensive end. And because of the injury to Arthur Jones, now Henry Anderson has had his chance, and he has just shown out there, both against the run and against the pass.
He and Parry, both the 2 Stanford kids. Yeldon on second down, burst into some daylight, and he's got room to run along the far sideline. He's out of bounds. Mike Adams shuttled him out of bounds at the 44 of Indianapolis. A 36-yard run for T.J. Yeldon.
Jeremy Parnell and Mercedes Lewis Parnell gets the primary block right there on Kendall Langford. And then when TJ Yeldon saw it, he explodes right there, and Mike Adams cannot make the tackle.
For the first time today, Toby Gerhardt is in the game in the backfield for Jacksonville. They give the handoff to Gerhardt, dancing around, not much there, and he's pushed back for a loss of 1 or 2. Walden and Jackson in on the tackle. Kind of interesting to put Gerhardt in at this point.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. I think TJ Yeldon has to be your guy. And these are the moments where the running game, Yeldon and Bortles, you know, this is the young nucleus of this offense where they kind of have to be your superstars. By the way, Trent Cole came in off the edge and destroyed that in the backfield. Great play by number 58.
Yeah, huge asset. Trent Cole over from the Eagles. Second down and 12. Yeldon's back in. Next to Bortles in the backfield. Here comes the pressure by the Colts. The ball swatted away again. This time it's Kendall Langford who got a hand on it. Third down for Bortles.
A great play. Defensive line right now. You may not be able to get pressure, but you recognize the quick passing game. Kendall Langford on a double team, sticks the left hand out there. And the second batted ball of the drive.
How about Bortles is now 27 of 46 this afternoon, trying to convert for the second time on third down. They need to get to the 34 of Indianapolis. He steps in front of the pressure and throws to the middle. Incomplete, broken up. Intended for Robinson. Mike Adams in on the coverage.
Oh, Mike Adams is all over it. Man-to-man across the board. And Blake Bortles does a good job initially in having that pocket awareness, buying a little bit of extra time. But as he steps up, Mike Adams is all over it. Nowhere to throw the football, blanket coverage. You see, they're thoroughly aware where Allen Robinson is. They had a bracket coverage. Vontae Davis on the outside, Adams on the inside. Executed flawlessly.
He's fortunate that ball wasn't intercepted. Kirk Whalen calls for the fair catch and will corral it outside the 15. I feel like we've been saying this for the last 20 minutes or so, but Matt Hasselbeck now has a chance to win the game for the Indianapolis Colts, or at least get into range for Adam Vinatieri, because a field goal now can win it for Indianapolis.
Yes, Jacksonville had the chance to go down there, and because they had the first possession and failed to score, and now it's all on the Indianapolis Colts. Field goal range is all you need. That Indianapolis defense came to play in here in the second half.
Big
They have locked down the Jaguars offense.
That's Andre Johnson in motion. Andre Johnson has not been a factor in this ball game as a receiver up to this point. Hasselbeck looking left, throwing left, has Fleener for a positive gain up to the 23 in front of Gratz.
Both teams have now had an opportunity to possess the ball. The first team to score even a field goal wins the game.
His target line is to 35. To the 35-yard line. You may even be able to move that back to the closed end of the stadium. He was emphatic that he wanted the closed end of the stadium to kick off. We want to welcome those of you who are watching the Raiders and the Bears to Indianapolis, where we're in overtime. Jacksonville and the Colts tied at 13. Hasselbeck, pass complete to Fleener again. This time he's shy of the 25. Cyprien makes the tackle. Quick game summary for everyone. Jaguars have forced 2 turnovers. Myers missed a 53-yarder with 1 second left in regulation. Allen Hurns has had a big day. 11 catches for 116 yards. It's third down and a little more than 2. Hasselbeck pumps to his left, throws to his right for Fleener, and he can't grab it. Cyprien in on the coverage. The Colts want pass interference, and now the Colts will have to punt the ball away.
Well, it's tough to see exactly what happened. They had double slants on over to the left, and that's where initially Hasselbeck wanted to go. That was covered, and then he had to go all the way to the other side. He saw that he had a matchup on a safety that might have been beat a little bit, but he just can't quite get the ball to Fleener.
Hasselback's reaction, you don't think he still loves this game at the age of 40. McAfee to punt. Walters back deep to receive. This is a high one. And Walters will take it at the 25. He reversed field to try to get positive yards and now has a blocker, and he's across the 35 up to the 39. Geathers in on the tackle for the Colts. A 52-yard punt, a 14-yard return. Well, Blake Bortles has been given countless opportunities now to sort of come of age and pick up a marquee win against the Indianapolis Colts.
He has, and they had a great opportunity there in regulation, but that snap that went through his knees and really put them out of field goal range and forced them to punt on that drive was a huge wasted opportunity. But right now, he's got to find a matchup that works for his offense.
Yeldon gets a yard. Under 12 minutes to play here in overtime. Along with Adam Archuleta, I'm Tom McCarthy. Jacksonville and Indianapolis in an AFC South matchup. Each team at 1-2. TJ Yeldon today, 19 carries, 98 yards for the Jaguars. Second down and 9. Bortles to the far side of the field, and he has a man, but he's out of bounds. It's Allen Robinson. It'll be third down. Boy, they went for the money ball right there.
They did. Robinson again on Davis, the Pro Bowl cornerback, and he beats him off of the line, but there was nowhere. He didn't leave himself enough sideline for Bortles to drop the ball in there. And here in the second half, Davis has been the guy shadowing Allen Robinson, and he's pretty much blanked him. One catch for only 9 yards. Here in the second half, it just hasn't been a great connection from Bortles to his big play wide receiver.
Let's see if he finds Lewis here at all. Bortles off his back leg, and his pass is complete. Robinson comes back to make the reception at the 45-yard line of Indianapolis.
This is pretty unbelievable. Double A gaps inside. C.O. Moore and DeQuell Jackson. C.O. Moore gets great penetration right there. And it looks like Wisniewski lost him for a second. I don't know how in the world Bortles was able to get this ball off of his back foot, but Robinson was able to beat Vontae Davis and a much-needed first down.
Well, we mentioned before they need to get to the 40 to be in his range, Myers' range. That's probably still the same range as Yeldon moves the pile to the 40-yard line. It's a gain of 5. Jason Myers missed a field goal at the end of regulation, but technically he missed 2 because the first miss, the Colts called timeout, so he was able to do it again. And then he missed again.
Tom, let's rewind just a second. How about that throw?
It's awesome.
And that catch to Bortles. We just talked about what Davis was doing to Robinson, but under pressure off of his back foot, and he fires a dart.
Tom House would be happy with those mechanics. On second down, the handoff is faked, and Bortles will keep it himself, but he's stumbling inside the 35 and out of bounds at the 32-yard line.
Boy, this play, when you use it strategically, and you use it kind of like Seattle does it with Russell Wilson, and you pick your spots. This is the first time we've seen this all game. But Jonathan Newsome, the outside linebacker, was frozen right there, going inside to get TJ Yeldon. And we've talked about it since Blake Bortles was drafted. He has the athletic ability to hurt you on the edge.
Well, they said he ran too much last year. And Yeldon takes the handoff, and he's stopped by DeQuell Jackson. They said he ran too much last year, over 500 yards. And they said it was because he was running for his life more than anything else.
It was a lot of movement passes, a lot of nakeds and bootlegs. But again, when you have that kind of an asset and you do it the right way in those key moments, especially if your running game is strong, that really throws the defense off balance. And you saw how effective it was because, as I said, it's the first time this game they've ran that play.
Jaguars have lost 10 straight on the road. The next score wins. They're within field goal range distance-wise for Jason Myers. Second down and 11. Bortles, quick drop, quick toss. Pass is incomplete, intended for Hearns. But didn't realize the ball was there. Josh Thomas in on the coverage, so now third down.
Good job by TJ Yeldon. picking up Eric Walden coming off the edge, going low and cutting him. So Bortles had a throwing window to get that ball out of there.
Are you conservative here, Adam, with Bortles on third down since you're within field goal range?
I think you may not try and get the first down, but you got to give your team an opportunity at least to catch the ball and try and pick it up the rest of the way on the ground.
Yeldon's in the backfield. He's over 100 yards this afternoon. He'll take the handoff, runs right up the middle, and he's down to the 30. So he gets 3. DeQuell Jackson with the tackle. So now on fourth down in overtime, Jason Myers will get another chance. He's kicking to the open end of the stadium. There's a very gentle breeze coming in from those open windows. Today he's 2 for 3. The miss came with 1 second left.
Now remember, both of those misses came from the right hash mark.
Correct.
And the ball trailed left. The first one was very wide left. The other one just outside. This time he's over to the left hash mark. It should suit his kicking style.
Carson Tinker is the long snapper. Brian Anger is the holder. A 48-yarder to win it. Good snap, good hold. Kick is on its way. End over end. It is no good again. Oh, my.
Ball returns to the spot of the kick. First down.
Watch it from the end zone. Boy, it was coming right down center, and it just hooked to the left.
No, you got to wonder, is that an overcorrection?
It might have been. Chuck Pagano says no good from the get-go. If anybody saw Chuck Pagano's speech after they beat Tennessee, he may have another one in him.
Both these teams are playing hard, though.
Yeah, they are.
Both of these teams are playing to win. They're putting a lot of effort out there.
Hasselbeck under center off the play fake. He's going to throw on first down. He lofts it to Fleener, and Fleener has it inside the 40. And he's out of bounds inside the 35. Telvin Smith in on the coverage.
Well, right here, scissors route. Andre Johnson running to the post. Telvin Smith with outside leverage. Fleener adjusts his route upfield, and Hasselbeck puts it right there for his tight end. Well, we haven't heard Kobe Fleener's name much in the deep passing game this season, but when their team needed it most, he comes through.
Well, they're well within Vinatieri's field goal range. Doyle is the fullback off the play fake. Hasselbeck's going to keep it himself. He's spry at the age of 40. Down to the 30-yard line. Scuda will be credited with the tackle.
He tried to hit the Jaguars defense with the banana in the tailpipe. You're not going to really expect that with Matt Hasselbeck, but the old naked bootleg. Good recognition outside from Dan Scuda to run him down. But Pep Hamilton trying to sneak one by.
Beverly Hills cop there with the I formation on second down and 6. And up to Gore, and he makes sure he has 2 hands around the football. He fumbled earlier. Armbrister makes the tackle. Reminder, too, the Jaguars have played most of the second half in overtime without Posluszny out with an ankle injury. That's why Armbrister's in there.
72 reports eligible. 72 is eligible.
Vinatieri has been in this spot many times during his career. Under 7 minutes left in this overtime. If you're conservative, are you conservative here at third down, Adam?
Absolutely. You're going to just run it up there. You've got to put it on your Hall of Famer to make this kick.
And they give it to the potential Hall of Famer Frank Gore to try to seal the deal. And Gore into the open field. He may have the end zone in his sights, and he's inside the 10, down to the 6-yard line. Jonathan Cyprien with the tackle after a 23-yard gain.
How about Jack Doyle and Hugh Thornton pulling in here? All Frank Gore has to do is read his blocks from Thornton and Doyle. There's no second layer support, and Gore breaks the first tackle and unbelievably makes a huge play for the Colts offense.
All right, now I feel like I'm sitting on my couch talking to my best friend. Would you kick it early here, or would you go for another couple of plays? Timeout called by Indianapolis. Because some people think, all right, if you try to kick it here, if it's a missed snap, maybe you get another chance.
I would think
it's a 30-second timeout.
You maybe run one play, max, but you got to believe that Adam Vinatieri can make this kick in his sleep. You've got to believe it.
Remember earlier they had the delay a game to move it back 5 yards because he was didn't matter how close he was, but his leg is strong enough. He just conferred with Chuck Pagano. They may have been talking about where he wants the ball spotted as far as his field goal attempt goes.
That might be the only issue, but I can't imagine that you're going to try and run any play other than trying to position this football where you want it.
Absolutely.
So Hasselbeck might take this snap and just go right to the center of the field and take a knee.
Well, he's got a little victory formation here with Moncrief as the safety valve. Hasselbeck under center will indeed take 2 knees, and Vinatieri will be called upon to try to win the game for the Indianapolis Colts. He's had 9 overtime game-winning field goals. That counts the postseason. This will be a 27-yard field goal attempt. Matt Overton is the long snapper. Pat McAfee is the holder for Vinatieri. To win the game, the Jaguars and the Colts in overtime. The 42-year-old. Good snap, good hole. Kick is on its way. It is good. The Indianapolis Colts in overtime have defeated the Jacksonville Jaguars as the veteran Adam Vinatieri puts it through the uprights for the game-winning field goal. Everything was clean, including the kick. A guy who had to talk his first NFL coach into an opportunity with the New England Patriots. That was Bill Parcells. Now at the age of 42, it never gets old. Vinatieri wins it for the Colts. We'll be back to wrap it up from Indianapolis right after this.